It's time for Movie Talk, where we talk movies and TV with your host, Harry Rice.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today is a brand new video, and of course, that means a new movie talk with the boys up top. Up here, we've got Matt. He's looking up at me. I'm looking up, or he's looking down at me, I should say. How you doing, Matt?
And this is like the Brady Bunch. It's a story of these three guys
who talk about movies and they ramble on a bit. All right.
And they ramble on a bit.
Over here, of course,
all of them are not bald except the old guy, and he talks like shit. There you go. It's like there's the opening right there. All right, sorry about that.
No, don't worry. Up here, he was just singing. It's Rick over from Talking Habs. Both these guys, you can find them at Talking Habs. You can find them at Pucking Around Podcast and the Habnormals podcast. The Habnormals is on Talking Habs, and Don't Puck with Media is where you can find Pucking Around.
And Matt, you can find at all your local brothels.
Yes, Matt's even cringing at that. He's like, I have a girlfriend. You didn't need to say that. No, but today we were talking about movies, a couple movies that we watched recently. I will have another video coming out probably at the beginning of August talking about the movies that I've seen myself, because I'm doing a challenge. I'll talk about that more in that video when it comes out. That's really interesting. I'll tell you guys about it after. I think I might have told you guys already, but I'll tell you after the recording. But today, what are we talking about? We're talking about a comedy, a western, a crime drama, a music drama, and a suspense thriller. If you can see the names on the left, then yeah, you can tell. Or if you guys want to skip ahead, I don't know why you would, but you could also do that. We're talking about Bridesmaids, which is, of course, the crime drama, as it should have been. No, we're talking about the comedy Bridesmaids, the western Sisters Brothers, the crime drama Irishman, the music drama Whiplash, and the suspense thriller The Gift. That's the order we're going to go in. Is Bridesmaids, Sisters Brothers, Irishman, Whiplash, and The Gift. So yeah, I'm going to start us off talking about Bridesmaids. So the movie follows Annie, who's played by Kristen Wiig, who's a single woman. Her life is just kind of going nowhere. She's just kind of middling. When her best friend Lillian, who's played by Maya Rudolph, gets engaged and Annie's named the maid of honor, she tries to make everything perfect for her best friend's wedding, in the process getting into a feud with one of the other bridesmaids, and also potentially finding romance.
Maya Rudolph's new best friend.
Yeah, Maya Rudolph's new best friend. So yeah. I'll get into the director and the writers first, and then we'll talk about the cast. So the director is, of course, Paul Feig. Nobody likes Paul Feig. He directed, I'll just give a few notables from their career, 2 or 3 maybe. He also directed The Heat, also that has Melissa McCarthy, and also Ghostbusters 2016, which was critically panned, as it should have been, thank God. The writers on the film were Kristen Wiig, Annie Mumolo, I believe is how you say her name, and Paul Feig, so director-writer. We have a couple of those, actually, on this 5-film set. The main cast, Kristen Wiig plays Annie Walker, Maya Rudolph plays Lillian Donovan, Rose Byrne plays Helen Harris III, Melissa McCarthy plays Megan Price, Megan Price, and we're actually going to be talking a little bit about her because... What's up?
Carrie's sister. No, just joking.
Oh, yeah. For a second, I was like, "The fuck are you talking about?" Like, oh, okay. Hit me after a second. We'll be talking about Melissa McCarthy because I think my thoughts on her in this movie are going to surprise a couple people, and you know what? I'm going to be very happy about that. Ellie Kemper plays Becca, and Chris O'Dowd plays Officer Nathan Rhodes, brother, of course, to Cody and Lana. I really hope Matt got that.
I didn't get that.
Oh, Cody's a wrestler, Lana's a porn star. So.
Oh, okay. Hey, listen, can't have a video without a porn star mentioned in it.
Yeah, so there's the cast. So I have a couple questions for each of these films. For Bridesmaids, I have 1. Irishman, I have none, but I'll make one up on the spot. So for Bridesmaids, my question was, quote, people found this shit funny back in 2011? So yeah. I think that tells you what I think of Bridesmaids. I was not a fan of it, honestly. I didn't like it.
Listen, it was hilarious. You know, you mentioned Melissa McCarthy. I'm in general not a fan of hers.
No, me neither.
She was good in this. She was funny, and she was good. The scene where they eat in the restaurant and then they go for the fitting for the bride's bridesmaids dresses and all that.
Yeah, for the
And they
dresses.
all get sick, and they're shitting it. Come on, that's hilarious.
I
Rudolph
thought
trying
that
to
was
get
the worst
across
scene.
the street to a bathroom, and just oh no, what's happening? And she sits down in the middle of fucking New York street and just has a shit.
Let's go, yeah.
I don't know.
I hated that
funny.
scene. I'll admit, I was actually, we were going to talk about the scene eventually because I did have something to say about it. I forgot to put it in my notes though. You know, that's obviously, I think, the most notorious scene of the film. It's the one that gets talked about the most. So it's actually kind of fitting that we're starting off with that scene. It wasn't as gross out humor as I thought it was going to be. You don't really hear or see anything. It's really just about the acting, which almost makes me want to respect that scene because it doesn't rely on the sound effects or anything. It's strictly on the acting.
Because I just didn't. They took them. Okay, let me just say, I thought this movie could have been a guy's movie. These girls took this guy's kind of concept, made a kind of guy's movie, but for girls. And I think but it's a guy's concept.
Yeah, it's a film that and it's not exactly
it well, by the way. But
yeah, no, it's not exactly one for one, but it's very much in a way supposed to be a subversion of stuff like Euro Trip and The Hangover and
it's guys
sort of
humor.
American Pie, but it's in the vacation kind of.
They took guys humor and they did it as women, and they did it I like the way they did it. They handled it well.
There was one thing, admittedly, that I liked about the film. Well, actually, two things. Technically, you could say Melissa McCarthy. Even though this movie got 0 laughs out of me, I respect Melissa McCarthy for actually trying and actually giving a performance, not just being herself reading lines, but actually putting on a character. I do respect her for that in this film. It's one of the few roles where I look at her and I think, wow, she's actually trying. She could be decent. But it's the romance between Kristen Wiig and Chris O'Dowd, who plays the officer she kind of has a little bit of a romance with. I kind of like how it's done. It is very cliched. It is very romantic comedy.
There's chemistry there.
There is chemistry. How they get together, how they fall out and end up getting back together is very cliched. But I kind of like that stuff. So it kind of works for me.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, the fact that she's screwing John Hamm in the beginning. John Hamm's not funny, so I'm sorry to anyone who likes John Hamm.
I don't think he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be an asshole.
Well, no, he's supposed to be a funny asshole. He's supposed to be that kind of. He's so arrogant with himself that it's funny.
He's supposed to be a guy who thinks he's funny, thinks he's great, thinks he's like, you know, God's gift.
No, but I think there was supposed to be humor in how high he has himself up. So I think there was supposed to be humor there, but it just doesn't land. Same with any of the humor in this film, in my opinion, honestly, though. I might, maybe because I'm someone who I have higher expectations.
No, I'm just joking.
No, we want to talk about women. We'll be talking about women in a little
while. Your best friend's a girl, so yeah.
You
don't hate women.
No, obviously. No, I just hate most women. No. Okay, no. Okay, I have to say this. That's a joke, obviously. That's a joke. YouTube, don't cancel me.
It's most women, but he's saying
just a few women. Only Rosie O'Donnell. But you know, I had to get that in there somewhere. But you know, seriously, I just didn't find this movie funny. You know, it's not one of those films where, you know, oh, it's a crime against humanity. No, it's just kind of a whatever comedy. I actually think that this is one film that would have worked better if they had played it in a dramatic setting or a suspense thriller setting, which we'll get into The Gift, which is a suspense thriller. I think this movie could have worked a lot better there because for me, I'm personally someone, I don't find Kristen Wiig funny. I think she works a lot better in dramatic films. I've seen her in movie she did with Bill Hader. I can't remember that. Skeleton Twins. I didn't like the Skeleton Twins. I really liked her performance in that. Hate Ship, Love Ship, I thought she was good. She's very good at playing anxious and kind of overwhelmed characters. She's not good at playing.
Oh, that's what she was playing.
No, but she was playing it in a kind of not over the top, but a very comedic setting. If she's playing it like she plays in the Skeleton Twins, I think she's really good dramatically. I just don't think that comedy was really right for her.
You're talking about someone who was starring on Saturday Night Live for I don't know how many years. Comedy's not right.
And she was part of the worst seasons, you know, or some of the worst seasons.
I don't agree. No, it's like I kind of feel the opposite of you. I thought she was good in the comedic aspects of this movie. Yeah, I mean, I think I feel totally the opposite of you. I liked it the first time around. I was like, not sure. I saved it for last, and was like, okay, I don't know if it'll hold up as a second watching, and that many years later. And I was like, I really enjoyed it again. So like, I really liked that movie.
Well, hey, that's fair, Matt. We haven't heard from you a little bit. I know you. We talked about this a little bit, and you kind of agree with Rick, but I want to know what do you think about Bridesmaids?
No, I'm definitely more so with Rick on this. I mean, I love my Rudolph.
She was
such a huge fan of her. She's always hilarious in everything she does. I thought the cast worked pretty well. It's a good movie. It's a fun movie. One of Alicia's favorite movies. So we had a good time watching it, and I think overall it was done pretty well. I didn't have any issues with it. I liked it.
Well, that was well written.
Yeah,
well acted. I liked the fact of the girls kind of doing the guy thing in their way. And it was guy humor.
It's a really cool
guy humor and made it the girl humor. And I like the way I like the way that turned out. As far as like the director,
Yeah.
I agree with you in some of those other movies. But I mean, this one, this one was good. This one was good.
Yeah. And I will acknowledge, because I think there might be a couple people in the comments. Oh, maybe you just hate Paul Feig. Yeah, I absolutely hate Paul Feig. I don't like how he treated Ghostbusters fans. I don't like that he called them all assholes when they said that his Ghostbusters remake didn't look like it was going to be good. I don't like how he handled that.
That was
it was not
McCarthy. That was the
Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, I
there were a couple of parts that were good, but I mean, other than that, it wasn't really good.
It was like all improv. There's no good comment. Like, we can talk about that eventually another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't like Ghostbusters remake. Rick didn't. We don't know what Matt thinks. Matt, real quick, what do you think about the Ghostbusters? All right, there you go.
Wow.
He's nodding.
This is the one feather in his cap that he did a good.
I mean, yeah, you know what? He got 4 or 5 jobs just because he did this movie, which, you know what? Hey, I'll say good for him. Get the money.
Well, deservedly so that he got the opportunities. What he did with it, I don't know. But no,
he got the opportunities.
I don't care who directed it. This was a good movie, in my opinion.
I can't say that it was. I mean, again, like, maybe it's just because I hate Paul Feig that I went into this with, I'm gonna hate this movie. I wanted to like it, actually. I came in like, you know what? Paul Feig's done some stinkers. I want to enjoy this movie. And I just didn't. I found myself laughing more at me making fun of the movie than I actually did enjoying the movie. I liked Ellie Kemper. I thought she was very cute in this movie. I thought she was fun.
Yeah.
But for me, maybe it's because as well, I'm not a huge fan of that raunchy sex comedy type of film, aside from the first 2 American Pies, which I actually think are really solid in that genre.
But you even said they handled it in a way that it wasn't that. If it was a guy's movie, it would have been that raunchy sex.
For a lot of it, I mean, I don't know. Again, in the beginning, with, like, for example, just the scene in the opening with John Hamm, where he's telling her what to do while they're having sex.
Yeah,
that's the start. That's the start, and it's not funny, and it just kind of de-escalates from there. Almost, it's very. Anytime they do,
you know what? I'm surprised to hear you say that, and I think your best friend, she's gonna be disappointed to hear you say that.
No, she hated that. She didn't like this movie.
Oh, she didn't. Okay, so
we watched it together.
This is how I saw that. We're seeing what it's like for a woman to have to put up with a fucking asshole, and you can look at yourself in the mirror and go, "Geez, am I like that? Is that really how they see me?" And you know what? A lot of guys, it is. So I saw it. You saw it from a woman's point of view instead of a guy's point of view.
No, but still, I don't even know if it was necessarily meant that deeply by the writers, but like
maybe not.
That's how I saw it strictly from a comedic standpoint, because I'm not necessarily talking philosophy with a movie like Bridesmaids, but like just strictly from a comedic standpoint, it didn't click with me at all. I think Kristen Wiig works better comedically. I think Melissa McCarthy actually tried, which it's a shame she did on this movie and not any of her future comedic projects, because I think they really could have used. They definitely could have used some of what she brought to
her last show on Netflix. Don't even bother.
Oh, like, God, the movie she did with Jerry Seinfeld, Frosted, I think it's called. God,
I didn't see that. No,
absolutely pathetic.
Yeah.
And by the way, Jerry Seinfeld slept with a 17-year-old. Just got to mention that every time I
Okay, but I'll give you this though. He's still married to her.
Wait, what?
That's his wife. She was.
I did not realize they married.
Together. She was
like,
17, and now they're still together. I gotta say, there's something there at least.
Yeah, but it's still a little creepy for 30 whatever year olds.
I'll give you that. I'm not gonna say no.
But you know what? Hey, at least
still
it wasn't
together.
At least
and she's really happy. I'll give there's something weird there, but I mean there's something there. Anyway, I just thought I'd say that.
Yeah, that's fair. Chris O'Dowd, I should say, he deserved way better in this movie. I like him in this movie. I really like Chris O'Dowd. Yeah, I
would have liked to see more of that relationship.
Yeah, I should say this. I actually really liked their chemistry and the scenes that they shared. When it's not focusing on the actual wedding that's upcoming and it's focusing on Kristen Wiig and Chris O'Dowd, that really works. I think if you had rebuilt the film from scratch and made it more so about their relationship, I think that would have made for a really good dramatic comedy. Like if you have a little bit of comedy in there, but it's more so about them trying to work things out. I really would have liked that. I would have loved.
I kind of agree. I don't know if they would consider that, but yeah, that was worth like to see them maybe in a different movie. That chemistry between the two of them was there. You know?
Yeah, like something like say the Skeleton Twins, which I don't know if either of you have seen, but that's a movie that's so bleak and droll and just kind of dark on itself. If it had something like this in there for at least a part of it, I think that could have lifted that movie up a little better and take it from it's just kind of depressing to hey, it's actually kind of good. So I actually really did like some things in this film. Again, Melissa McCarthy I think tried their chemistry with Kristen Wiig and Chris O'Dowd. I think was really solid. It's just for me the humor, which should be the main focus of a comedy film, didn't work. They didn't really use a lot of different types of humor. They didn't go for visual timing. They didn't go for not off screen, but background. They didn't go for what I'd like to see more comedies go for, and that's using all types of different types of humor.
They didn't layer it as much as you'd like. I think that's what you're talking.
They didn't have different layers. It's not even necessarily about doing exclusively smart comedy. I
don't disagree, but I don't know that this movie needed that, in my opinion. But I think that's where you're going. They didn't have enough.
Yeah, and again, it's not even about just doing smart humor, but I just like to see them try a little more. Have a couple. Something like, say, Django Unchained. It's just the first movie that's coming to my head. The scene where, I forgot who it is, but they have the camera's angled in such a way that the woman gets shot to leave off screen. She fucking flies back. It's something funny like that. Like, I would like to see, like, stuff more like that. I'm describing it poorly, but anyone who's seen Django Unchained and, like, remembers that part.
I have.
Like, well, I should say anyone who, like, actually, like, remembers, like, the scene I'm talking about. It's the scene... I think
I'm old that I can't remember. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's definitely what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, but I think I think Jamie Foxx is like at the top of the stairs. The camera's like angled down, and like he shoots. Like someone comes in, shoot them, and they go off camera. Like they fly off camera. I forget, but
I kind of remember the scene. I saw it a while back.
It's something sort of like that. Yeah. But yeah, I just didn't really care for Bridesmaids. I don't know if we want to go star ratings on these.
Yeah, I was going to say we got the 5 stars there on the thumb.
Yeah.
Let's give it up to 5. How many stars out of 5?
Yeah, I think 5 stars works. Yeah. All right. So how are we going? What order do we want to go on?
You're the boss, so you go first.
All right, I'll go first, and then Matt, and then we'll end with Rick,
that works.
So for Bridesmaids, me personally, I'll give it. On Letterboxd, I think I rated it 1 out of 5, but I'll go 1.5. I'll be nice to Chris O'Dowd and Melissa McCarthy actually trying. I'll go 1.5. Sorry?
I kind of figured you were going to be there, 1 or 2. So it's right there, right in the middle.
Yeah. All right, Matt, what would your star rating be for Bridesmaids?
In terms of star rating, like, for me, like, it's a fun movie, but overall, I just kind of thought of it as kind of being in the middle, so I'll probably give it around probably 3.5, maybe 4.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
For me, I enjoyed it the first time, and the reason I'm going to give it is because I watched it the other day and I enjoyed it. It's a 2-hour movie, so it's not a short one, and I enjoyed it all the way through. I give it a 4-star movie, at least 4 stars.
Wow.
I really liked
okay.
it. It stood up. It's 13 years old. It stood up. Comedy was good. Made me laugh. I'm watching it alone. I had a couple of laughs out loud. That's, I thought so. Yeah, I give it a 4-star. I liked it. Second time around.
Oh,
And the first
there you
time.
go.
Yeah. So there you go.
All
right. We did good. And we did it in 20 minutes. Perfect time.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, 20 minutes. Yeah, it's about 15 minutes, what I expected. So,
Awesome.
yeah, I'm just getting rid of the stuff on my notes. All right, so the next.
I didn't do this.
Oh.
That's Bridesmaids.
Oh, yeah, there's the.
I
there's
should
the
have done that when we let off, in
Yeah.
case you might know that, like
Yeah.
the movie poster, and go, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I know that movie."
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're 20 minutes in. I should say a spoiler alert for all these films. I completely forgot to off the hop. Yeah, spoiler alert for all these films.
Spoiler alert. We're gonna. Talk
I mean,
about
Bridesmaids. Bridesmaids doesn't really matter because it's a comedy, but yeah, from here on out, spoilers kind of matter. So if you want to check out any of the Sisters Brothers, The Gift, Whiplash, or The Irishman, go do so now.
Go watch those and then come back to this.
Yeah.
That's
so you can
do. Otherwise, we're going to spoil it a little bit. Probably.
Yeah. So, or if you're not interested and you just want to hear some goobers talk about movies, then yeah, stick around and we'll.
Hey, I'm a goober. I'm a goober. Yes.
We'll give you all the details on the. Well, not all the details, but we'll talk about these films a little bit. So yeah, just again a quick reminder. Spoiler alert. So
yes,
the next film we're going to talk about is one that there definitely are spoilers to talk about here. And that is The Sisters Brothers. This is the lone movie that our very own Matt Norton did not see. So
we didn't have access to it.
Yeah.
It's hard to find because it's on Prime or Netflix, and they took it off recently.
Yeah, and it's not on another.
So I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you where I saw it.
Yeah.
Don't ask me, but I did see it, and then Harry has the movie. So this is the
I have it on DVD. So
there's the in French. No, this is in Spanish. Los Hermanos Sisters.
Yeah,
and the reason I've got it in Spanish and not in English because the English ones wouldn't load in StreamYard, so I had to get one that freaking loaded. And there you go.
Should have sent it to me. I could have transferred it to a JPEG.
I could do it too, but I didn't feel like doing it. I could do it.
That's fair.
I feel like I have a program for that. Just is too much problem. All right. So, yes. This is, as we said, Matt did not see this. So, it's going to be just me and Harry. Harry.
Yeah.
Do you like Westerns to start with?
Funny enough, I was hoping you would ask me that. I'm not a huge Western guy. Not necessarily because I don't like them. I just haven't seen a ton of them to really make like I enjoy Westerns. But if they're anything like this film, yeah, I think I'd like Westerns. They're this one was was all right. That's cute, Rick.
This one was entertaining. Like I love Westerns, and I like different kinds. But I really like good dramatic shoot 'em up type of Westerns. That really make you feel like you're back in those days.
Yeah, this
one wasn't exactly that, but you know what? It had that. It had a little bit of everything, and I like that about it. And I think it took place in the later 1800s, right?
I believe the 1850s. I'll look it up real quick.
Something like that.
1851.
Oh, was that? Oh, I thought it was a little. Anyway, so yeah, I like the fact that it had a little bit of everything. So like if you really like those kind of shoot 'em up, you got that. If you like a little bit of gore with that, you got that. If you like dramatic stuff, you got that. If you like to see them riding horses, you got everything you like was in that movie. And a little bit of comedy in John C. Reilly.
Yeah, John C. Reilly, love him. So the basic plot of this film is that Eli and Charlie's sisters, played by John C. Reilly and Joaquin Phoenix respectively, are more or less hitmen who are hired by.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You're right. Okay,
sort of hitman. I mean, they're supposed
for
to
their
bring the
day,
guys back, but they sort of have to kill some of the people that they're hired to bring back. They're hired by I forget if it's just one guy or an organization called the Commodore. They're supposed to chase after a guy called Warm, played by Riz Ahmed, who has this formula for discovering golden water. There's a guy as well, John Morris, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, wonderful Jake Gyllenhaal, who's supposed to be the guy who kind of gets him at first, and then he hands him to the Sisters Brothers.
He's their advanced scout, I think, right?
Yeah, the scout or whatever. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, and they found him and they kind of following the guy around to sort of.
Yeah, they're supposed to be
But
following
so
him
they
to a
can get
certain
there.
place.
As they're
Yeah.
trying to get to him, I think, right at the beginning.
Yeah, they're trying to get to him, and then John Morris is a guy who, he ends up actually kind of not turning, but joining Riz Ahmed. He likes
befriends him.
Befriends him. He likes the formula idea. They end up and they're sort of trying to not outrun the Sisters Brothers, but just start their own business. And yeah, so that's a very basic level plot. We can talk about it a little bit more. But the director, and I'm gonna butcher his name, so I apologize in advance. But Jacques Audiard is the director. He also co-wrote it with Thomas Bidegain. They haven't really done anything super notable outside of this film, so I don't really need to mention that. The main cast in this film: John C. Reilly plays Eli's sisters, as I said. Joaquin Phoenix plays Charlie's sisters. Jake Gyllenhaal plays John Morris, and Riz Ahmed as Herman Kermit Warm. So yeah, I think we can talk about the movie now. All the required stuff is out of the way.
I thought I was already, but this was. I wanted to see this movie for a while, and I don't know why. I thought this isn't like the kind of Western. It's not gritty enough Western for me, and blah, blah, blah. I was really wrong. And that was the biggest surprise for me, was that even though you had John C. Reilly, so you had a little bit of comedy and all that, but no, there was still a lot of good, gritty Western type of action. And it was a good story. And to jump ahead for a sec, I really liked the way it ended.
Yeah.
Just a little bit before the ending. Just a little bit before when they go home, kind of. So it's kind of like it's a full
coming
circle.
Full circle, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that aspect to it. Their mom was hard as fucking rocks. They had a fucked up childhood, which made them kind of who they were. Guys that would kind of do anything to make money. They killed people. They didn't care what they did. They just needed to make money. People were afraid of them, and for a good reason. Even though they were kind of calamitous, is that the right word? But they kind of bumbling a little bit, But yet they were feared, and they were, and rightfully so. Just really good job acting. John C. Reilly, good job being, even when he had to be tough, was good at that. Had all the little comedic breaks were involved him. Joaquin Phoenix obviously always does a good job.
Great actor.
Jake Gyllenhaal. The other guy, I don't know him from anything else, but I mean, overall, all good cast. Yeah. Surrounding people were good. It was a really well done movie.
Yeah, I agree. It was very well done. Riz Ahmed hasn't really done. He was in Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal as well. He did that Sound of Metal that came out a couple years ago. He plays I believe he plays a deaf drummer. Seems almost sort of like a Whiplash type of movie, but so that might be one to check out eventually. But yeah, the cast was great. Even like supporting people like Carol Kane as the Sisters Brothers' mother. The person who plays Mayfield, great job. Everybody in this cast does a very good job. Yeah. I really like the plot as well. I mean, first and second time I'd seen this, because this is the third time I'd seen it for this video. I'll admit I didn't really understand it, which is weird because I was 17 and 18 when I saw this movie. I was paying attention to it. For some reason, I just didn't understand that they were hired to kill Riz Ahmed and Jake Gyllenhaal's characters at first. Well, at first Riz Ahmed, and then Jake Gyllenhaal when he joins Riz Ahmed.
Only after they got the formula out of him.
Yeah, they get the formula. Yeah, but yeah, I didn't really understand it. But this time, like watching it, it's very clear-cut narrative. If you're paying attention, you do understand it. And like you said, Rick, there's a little bit of everything. There's a gunfight at the beginning. There's a couple in the middle. There's one at the end that's very, very good with John C. Reilly. And if I can talk about the end one for a second, I love that it's not your typical final showdown where it has you know, that big monologue, both sides, and something smart. No, he's just, the guy starts laughing, shoots him right away. love that John C. Reilly is very smart in that moment.
And even in them going back, and because they failed the Commodore, right? And he sent people out to kill them, and they killed them all, and they're heading back, and they're worried about it. And you figure in most movies, there's going to be this big showdown
with the Commodore
and his men. And no, they get back, and he's dead already.
Yeah, he just died, which is comedic for a Western.
Yeah, it was really, I like the fact that they just sort of turned it on its head.
Yeah, and very much a subversion of expectations. Like
then they go home and that's before they went back. No, they went back home before they went back out. This all happened, I guess, before they went and found Morris, right? Because didn't them discovering the two guys they were chasing, didn't they do some gold harvesting? And isn't that how Charlie bought it? No.
No. That's how he loses his hand.
It's only how he lost his hand, right?
Yeah. Well, I think we have to hear about. Yeah,
it's that final shootout that is what, right?
Yeah, where he's incapacitated. It's just John C. Reilly.
Yeah. Okay, I was. Yeah. So I like the fact that they get to go back home. And
which is what most Westerns don't really do. It's I'm a Lone Ranger.
It's like no, this one is just, and they're happy. Their mom's happy. It's like it was nice, a nice little for a second, you know.
Yeah, it's nice to have that little like, oh wow, everything is right in this moment. Even if they're gonna have more guys, probably.
It's not gonna last. Yeah, it's not gonna last. But it was nice in the moment.
No. Yeah. And I will say as well, one thing I found really funny with the Commodore being dead at the end, they don't have that shootout. I like that they go up to see him, and he's in the casket. You know, he's dead. He's presenting, and I love that. You know, they're like, okay, well, he's dead. Joaquin Phoenix walks out. John C. Reilly has to punch the fucking corpse to make sure he's actually dead. Just gives the one to make sure.
But I think also in anger too, a little bit of like, you sent these guys out to kill me. But I think
it was. I think the first one was to make sure. The second one was more so you fucking sent guys out.
But that was good that it punched him out.
And I had to put that in my notes because I saw that. I was like, oh, that's funny. I gotta mention that.
All the good little comedic things were from John C. Reilly when he gets the toothbrush.
Yeah, and he's using it for the first time.
Yeah, first time he's looking at, and then they were in that nice hotel, right? And so the first time flushable toilet. Yeah. And so the same kind of scene, right? And then he flushes the toilet. He goes, "Hey, Charlie, come here!
You gotta look at this."
Even like innocent, but it was well done.
Yeah, but it's like, and you think about it, it makes sense. You know, this is probably the first time these guys are seeing it.
It is.
You know,
that's what it was
like
back
then. What the hell
is
this thing doing? Yeah,
like, they didn't have flushable toilets.
No,
it was an outhouse.
Outhouse, you gotta dump it after a while. Yeah,
a hole in the ground, or you shit in a bucket. Right, exactly.
Yeah. And there's another scene in that hotel. I think it's in the hotel where he has he gets the services of a prostitute. He asks her how much just to talk, and then he has her give him the shawl, and she looks so terrified in that scene because he's like, "What the fuck are you doing this for?" Like, and that whole thing where he's just like, "No, you have to say this," and "Can I steal a kiss from you?" Like, "No, you say that." It's like I thought all that was a little bit funny, but also a little bit kind of heartbreaking because it's clear that he got it from somebody else he loved, but it's also like what they kind of tell you in passing that comes back up, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. They do that, and
his character John C. Reilly. I think there were a lot of that kind of scene where there's some comedy, but it was also, like you say, touching and heartbreaking, and like he did that really well where he brought that across.
He's very much the one who has a lot more. I don't want to say public, but he's the one that a lot more tragedy happens to, where it's open and you can kind of tell. Joaquin Phoenix is very much the one who has that bottled up, and he goes out to party to try and combat that. Yeah. Like and the scene, I think the scenes that I think perfectly illustrate that are the scene where John C. Reilly's sleeping and he has the spider that crawls into his mouth and he's getting sick. Yeah, I hated that. Yeah, I hated that. But he gets sick, and then he ends up puking out some spider babies. Yeah, and that's the scene where it holds them back a day from going out to travel because he's sick, so they have to stay another day. And that comes up later how Joaquin Phoenix mentions, oh, your illnesses, that kept us for a day, and we have another day that we're behind these guys. And then Joaquin Phoenix, he gets drunk every night. He ends up having a shootout with somebody or scaring people out of the bar.
Yeah.
And that's an example of, he's clearly keeping some stuff inside, and it kind of comes out when they meet up with Riz Ahmed and Jake Gyllenhaal. Sort of ends up changing a little bit, and then
how he lost his hand. I mean, that's his fault because
we got to talk about that scene.
Right at the end, he kind of got overexcited, and
we got to talk about that scene.
And okay, set it up.
Yeah, so basically, as we've mentioned, they're chasing Riz Ahmed, who has this formula for. Basically, it's something where it's like a mixture where he pours it in the water, you mix it around, and something about it makes the gold
light up.
Shine. Yeah, light up. You can see it a lot more easy. The only thing is it only lasts a certain time.
Yeah, and it's caustic.
It's caustic. You have to lotion up your hands, your legs when you go in. Yeah, grease it up. Yeah, I think that's what they say.
Yeah.
I forget if it was lotion or grease it. I think it's grease it up.
Grease.
Yeah, but you have to grease up, and you can only last a certain amount of time, and it starts to sting. You have to get out and do it again.
Yeah.
And they'd already apparently done this once. And I love the little setup they have, because you assume that Riz Ahmed's leg's just infected. When he goes down, you see it, and he's scratching at it. And it's like, oh shit, he got some type of infection. And you see in this scene, their legs start to burn. So obviously they all get out. They're greasing up. Joaquin Phoenix stays. He's burning. He's still trying to pick gold. They all have these. I say there's a system they develop. It's Riz Ahmed, Jake Gyllenhaal. They do the spreading. John C. Reilly and Joaquin Phoenix are pouring the formula. And so all three of them get out. Eli's calling out to Charlie. Charlie, come in. Come grease up. Come. You gotta get out of there for a minute. And they all three go back. He goes in. And then they all notice that the gold's kind of, it's going away. They need to pour some more after a while. So Charlie grabs the entire bucket, which I'm realizing Charlie bucket, and that's funny. But he grabs the thing, and he gets up on the one log to try and pour it, and they're telling him, no, put it down, Charlie. And the fucking thing spills out, and it gets all over his fucking arm. And from there it's chaos. He's screaming. And by the way, before I continue, shout out to Joaquin Phoenix. He is such a good screamer in his movies. Whenever they give him that chance, like in this movie, it felt like they actually put tar on his fucking arms, and he's screaming about that for real. He is so good at being a yeller and crying out in pain. He is such a good actor in that regard.
So after they spill all that, didn't
Riz Ahmed and Jake Gyllenhaal, they're trying to get to him. They end up falling in the water. They get covered. They're saying, "Oh, don't open your mouth, don't open your eyes," or whatever. John C. Reilly kind of, he's trying to get over there. They end up getting him out. They kind of take care of him. And from there, that's basically the downfall for the movie.
Well, yeah, because Jake Gyllenhaal, so Morris and Riz, is that
warm?
So they get it in their lungs, and then they
get in the lungs. It's on their face. It's all over them. Yeah, they end up dying.
There, that's it for them.
I do want to say one thing as well here. It's really funny because Joaquin Phoenix doesn't like John Morris, Jake Gyllenhaal's character. Doesn't like him. Talks about how pretentious he is. Morris leaves them a note basically saying, "Oh, Warm got on a train. I don't know where he is," and
he
whatever.
Lied.
They don't believe him. Obviously, they don't believe him, which is actually very smart of the characters. They don't believe him, and they keep pursuing.
Yeah,
but he doesn't like Morris. It's kind of funny that the nicest thing he does for Warm is give him the gun that he uses to kill himself.
Yeah,
because Warm is basically like, help me, because he's fucking covered in this shit, and he's suffering. You can tell he's lying there. I forget if he has the shakes or if he's just.
No, wasn't it Morris that he gave the gun to?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Morris.
Oh, okay, you said Morris.
Riz Ahmed is with John C. Reilly. He's the one Riz Ahmed thinks is Morris. He thinks that he's Morris. He's already died. That's
okay. All right.
Morris is with Morris is with Joaquin Phoenix, and so he's just help me. So he just goes over, gives him a gun.
He whispered. He went down and listened to what he was saying.
Oh yeah. He just
and he went and gave him the gun.
Gave him the gun. So it's kind of funny. But you just see the aftermath where it's
and you hear the gunshot, and then you see the aftermath.
Yeah, but I do think it's kind of morbidly funny again that the nicest thing he does is give him the gun that helps him kill himself. So he helps in his death, but it's also to help him believe that
it's merciful.
Yeah, and then of course the Riz Ahmed, great acting in this scene where he's with John C. Reilly, he thinks that it's Morris, he's already passed on, and he's talking about I really befriended you, I really liked you, and it's that scene I thought was really good acting from Riz Ahmed. I'm a really big fan of Riz Ahmed from what I've seen of him so far.
That's the first time I saw him.
Yeah, I definitely recommend Nightcrawler. If you enjoyed Jake Gyllenhaal and Riz Ahmed in this movie, they're very good in that one.
Yeah, it's another movie where I just never got around.
Hey, next time we do one of these for the 2010s, that's absolutely gonna have to be a movie we put on the list.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about that scene where Charlie spills the formula in his arm because that stuck with me. We were talking about this a little bit off camera, but it stuck with me from the first time I seen it, and like I should mention, it's very effective. You don't really see you don't see his arm peeling away or anything. You just see that he has black tar on his arm, and you see like the kind of heat, like the simmering. Yeah, you see a little bit, but you don't get a whole lot of it. Yeah, you get a little bit. It's more so what you envision. That
the whole movie, it's not overly gory.
No, there's a couple little bits here and there, but for the most part, it's very much. Yeah.
They don't needlessly use gore.
No. Yeah, no. Like you could have easily at the end with the Commodore, for example, had it where picks up the body, beating the shit out of it. There's blood everywhere. But no, it's just the two little places.
Even in the gunfights, I mean, they
in the gunfights, you could have showed close ups. Jake Gyllenhaal's death, you could have done that.
They did enough, but it wasn't overly.
Yeah, no, it was done where you feel it was needed. It was done for impact more so than
Yeah. So overall, a really good movie. We're hitting our 20, we're over our 20 minutes. 5 stars. Out of 5 stars, what do you give it?
Oh, I thought you said 5 stars. No, out of 5 stars, I'd probably go 4. I enjoyed this movie. Wasn't a whole lot bad with it. I thought there was just one scene where it's Joaquin in the all black room. He's telling the viewer that John and Worm are on Folsom Lake, and that's how they get there. I just didn't care for that kind of breaking that fourth wall to tell us where they are. I didn't really care for that, but aside from that, it was like. It was early enough where you can forget about it, and it's more so a nitpick than anything. I give it 4 stars. It's a very, very solid film.
No, I agree with you. It might not be an Academy Award winning movie, but as far as entertaining and enjoyable watch, all that it had a lot of value, and I'm going to agree with the 4 stars.
All right, perfect. All right,
how do we get Matt back now?
Yeah, we got to get Matt. Boobies. Just half a second.
Somehow, some way, I gotta find a way to watch that movie because it does sound very, very entertaining. It sounds like something that I get kicked out of.
Yeah, no, I think
it's a good kind of old fashioned, where you watch a movie and I don't know how to describe it. You just get into the whole feel of it. It's one of those good old fashioned kind of enjoyable watches.
Yeah.
All right.
Next up, we've got the most recent film on this list. For those of you who can't tell, there's a pattern. Oh yeah, easily the longest. For those of you who can't tell, by the way, there was a pattern. We picked movies from the 2010s for this. So.
Oh, that's right. It was 2010.
Yep. Yeah, that was our pattern. Next up, we're talking about The Irishman, of course. So. Before we get into anything, of course, the plot, we'll get into the cast, all that. So, let's see if I can get the plot right partially. So,
also, we'll remind them that spoiler alerts probably.
Yes, spoiler alert. If you've been interested in The Irishman, go check it out, then come back to this video, please. Or I don't know if we're putting timestamps at all. I don't know, but
spoiler alerts, that's all.
Yeah. Spoiler alert on The Irishman. The rest of the films throughout this, especially these last 3, we're going to get heavy into spoilers. But spoiler alert. So Frank Sheeran, played by Robert De Niro, is a truck driver who ends up becoming a hitman involved with the mob. Firstly with Russell Buffalino, played by the amazing, incomparable Joe Pesci. Fuck yeah, Joe Pesci. Woo.
Yeah, Joe Pesci was good. I like Joe Pesci.
I love Joe Pesci,
in that role. And this is based on real people. These are real people.
Oh, that I did not know, actually.
These are real people.
Yeah.
Now,
shit.
Depending on what you know about the mob and about Jimmy Hoffa, which we'll get into talking about this.
True.
Some of the events.
Yeah,
they are real, this isn't exactly how they happen. We don't really know.
Yeah, just
nobody knows real people. Russell Buffalino did run the Pennsylvania outfit for a while.
Right, and nobody knows exactly what happened to Jimmy Hoffa. I remember that. when
Yeah.
that happened, and boy, that was a big thing in my day. Where's Jimmy Hoffa? It was a big thing when he went missing.
Just to get into spoilers for like a small second, when Jimmy Hoffa ends up dying in this movie, it's 75. He actually died, I think it was 80 or 81. So there are definitely some fictionalized, well, I don't know if fictionalized, but definitely
Frank
moved
Sheeran
up
also wasn't the one that killed him, but again, this is based on Frank Sheeran's memoirs.
Yeah, it's almost like Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You can fictionalize events if you're, as long as you're showing respect, or it's clearly like, okay, this is a fictionalized version, which I think that's completely fine to do, and I think Scorsese did it really well here.
Pretty much, if it's not a documentary, it's a fictionalized version.
Right.
No?
Yeah, but more so like for like with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it was very worried. People were very worried when it was first announced that it'd be a bloodbath. He'd show the Tate murders instead of how he actually ended up doing it. Which, no spoilers for that movie, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, phenomenal movie. I love it. One of my favorites.
Yeah,
check it out as well, please.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Frank Sheeran gets involved with mob, basically. The cast. Whew, all right, are you ready? Robert De Niro plays Frank Sheeran. Al Pacino plays Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Pesci, apparently. Joe Pesci plays Russell Buffalino. Ray Romano, weirdly enough, plays Bill Buffalino, or you could say, or you could say he plays Buffalo Bill.
And he was good at it. He was good.
He was, Ray Romano.
I like Ray Romano.
Really, really good in that role.
So, I don't usually care for Ray Romano, surprisingly, but yeah, he was very good. I do agree. Harvey Keitel plays Angelo Bruno. I have to give a shout out to Jesse Plemons. I love Jesse Plemons. He plays Chucky O'Brien. If you guys might be wondering, where do you remember Jesse Plemons from? He was in Breaking Bad. He's married to Kirsten Dunst, so he's a very lucky man. He was in Killers of the Flower Moon. He plays the detective that comes around wondering about the deaths that go on. Love Jesse Plemons. Bobby Cannavale.
First season of
Fargo.
Fargo.
He's in Fargo. I didn't know that. Nice.
That's where he met Kirsten Dunst.
I didn't know that, actually.
I believe that is where they met and fell in love.
Shit, well, I'm not watching Fargo anymore because fuck, he stole my woman. No, love Kirsten Dunst, love Jesse Plemons. I hope they're happy. But Bobby Cannavale plays Skinny Razor, and Anna Paquin, the beautiful Canadian Anna Paquin, by the way, plays Peggy Sheeran, who is one of Frank's daughters. We'll get into the writer first because the director's going to take 17 minutes to talk about Steven Zellian, who wrote Moneyball, the 2001 masterpiece Hannibal. If you can't sense the sarcasm, I feel pity for you. And of course, Schindler's List, which I've not seen, but a very powerful movie from what I've heard.
Yeah, I've not seen it either.
Yeah, and of course, the director, Martin Scorsese. What can you talk about with this guy? Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas, Casino, Shutter Island, Raging Bull, The Departed, Killers of the Flower Moon, Gangs of New York, The Age of Innocence.
All movies over 3 hours.
Almost.
Yeah,
almost.
when you hear Scorsese signed on to do a movie, you know two things right off the bat. One, it's going to be about 3 hours or more.
Yeah.
Two, it's also going to be a phenomenal film.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street is absolutely phenomenal, and that's just for Margot Robbie. Not even mentioning the rest of the film itself. Margot Robbie in that movie.
I think the first time I saw Margot Robbie. So yeah,
the first time anyone saw Margot Robbie.
Was it okay? I wasn't sure.
That was the first movie in America.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
And, by the way, I got to mention this just because I love this story. Before we talk about The Irishman, when Margot Robbie was in the casting process or whatever, I think it was like she was like one of the few final girls that were left to like auditioning for that part. I forget if they were doing the scene with Leonardo DiCaprio where she argues with Leo's character, and she's supposed to slap him. She actually slaps Leonardo DiCaprio, and at that second, immediately she's worried. Oh no, my career's ruined. I'm fired. Leo loved it, and Leo and Martin, they were both like, "Shit, girls got balls," and she got cast because of that.
And he fucked her that night too, I'm sure.
You know what? No, I think he was a little too old for her.
She was too old for him at that point. Yeah.
No, I love Leo DiCaprio. Please don't shoot me. But for real, I'm jealous of Leonardo DiCaprio. I will admit, I'm jealous of him.
I like him as an actor. I like him a lot. He's a good actor.
Yeah, love Leo. Love Leo. He finally got the Oscar he deserved for about 20 years. 20 years too late, technically. But yeah. So The Irishman, getting back on track. The Irishman, I gotta ask, what'd you guys think? Because I can give my thoughts incrementally.
I've always loved these kind of epic mob films. I mean, especially out of Scorsese, but just in general, the epic mob type films. Obviously, the Godfather trilogy, Casino, Goodfellas. So I was excited when this got announced, and I've always been fascinated with the mob, like just the history of the mob, and kind of knowing a lot about, obviously the characters in this movie, the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. Was really, really excited to see how this would look on the big screen, and I loved it. I thought the acting choices were phenomenal. Joe Pesci just kills all these mob movie roles that he's in, partly because he kind of grew up with the life, almost in the life, as kind of the mobsters kind of say now when they talk about it. But I thought it was very long, but it was really good. And you kind of saw Frank's rise kind of throughout to really becoming kind of Russell Buffalino's right-hand man almost. And again, they do show, real assassinations, real hits. One of the ones that I know was completely, and the way they did in the movie was exactly how it happened. Just about was it was when he was going into the diner, and the guy was Joey, forget his last name, but he was having dinner with his family, and she just went out, bang, bang, bang. That's how that hit actually did happen. So that was kind of cool that they threw that in there. But yeah, it's a great Scorsese mob epic, and I highly recommend it. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys have to say, because like I said, I saw it a bunch. I saw it when it first came out by myself, then I watched it with my dad, and then my dad and I watched it again. So I've seen it many, many times.
Yeah, all right. Before Rick talks, I want to say as well, two things I really like about this film is that, and I'll give my thoughts on what I actually think of the movie after Rick, but I want to say these two things before they leave my mind. I love when they introduce certain characters and it has died on this assassination or whatever. I like that they have when they died. I think that was a really cool touch to certain characters that you don't see they die on screen, but you just see they died around almost the same time.
They were real people.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And the other thing I liked is that, and it's almost sort of spoilers, but not really. I liked that they don't go the Goodfellas and Casino route where Frank Sheeran is this big multimillionaire mobster. He's the biggest thing in the world. They treat him basically. No, he's just a guy that's kind of there. Really, that's more so kind of how they treat it in this film. And I really liked that it wasn't the typical Scorsese. I don't want to say glamorizing, but it's the right word for me to use in the moment. But glamorizing what they're doing. I really like that. Like I said, it went for that more kind of subdued, subtle kind of approach, especially when you have the what I thought was modern day, but then I realized it's more so just out of order when they're when it's De Niro and Pesci and they're driving to Frank Sheeran's daughter's wedding or whatever, and they're stopping by to see Jimmy Hoffa. I'll just say that before we get into spoiler talk. But they're supposed to go stop and see Hoffa. I didn't realize that those weren't modern day. I thought they were modern day, but then when they finally introduced that, they're going to see Jimmy, I was like, oh shit, okay, so this is also back then. I really like that they did all of that, and like I said, it's not like he has a complete fall at that point, but it's more so just they splice those in. All right, Rick, I want to hear your thoughts about this movie before I get them on. I want to hear what you think.
What do I think about the movie? It was really good.
All right, what I think of the movie.
No, I really liked it. I'm going to say this first because Harry and I talked about this before we started filming. If you've never seen Robert De Niro before, this is the first movie you've seen him in, you don't find he looks funny. He looks normal. But if you know Robert De Niro, he looks so weird in this because obviously
he does.
He's a 75-year-old man. And they're making him look like he's, in his 30s and 40s and stuff like that, right? So it's just that he looks so weird, the body and everything. It's just the way he walks. It's just everything is just weird about it. So, but if you don't know De Niro very well, then you won't find that. So I had to throw that out. That was the first thing that struck me was how weird he looked.
Yeah, the de-aging tech can look a little iffy at some points.
Well, overall, it was good.
It was good, but there's just a certain little segments.
75.
Like,
there's only so young.
I will say though, the de-aging on Pesci looked really good. That looked really, really good to make him look more like a 40-year-old.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But he was, they did. I agree with you. But most of his stuff, he was older though. Most of it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong on that. No, you're right.
There's a little bit. Yeah.
Pesci, maybe because he's smaller.
Maybe that could be it.
With De Niro, Pesci, it was something.
Yeah, with Pesci and Pacino, it did look really good. Then again, I'm sure some of it was kind of makeup just to smoothen it out, and then they just to get it going, and then they smooth it. It
wasn't his face. No, it was his shoulders. It was.
Yeah, they have to do a lot. Everything, the hands and the arms, I think as well.
It just looked. Anyways, besides that.
Yeah.
That's
I got to mention this as well because it'll help prove Rick's point more. There's a scene where one of Frank Sheeran's daughters says, like I don't know if she got smacked or just like a little roughed up in a little store.
He shoved her.
He shoves his daughter. The store owner shoves his daughter or one of the workers or whatever. So she tells her dad, and he goes over. You touched my daughter, you showed my daughter, whatever. He was in the wrong, Frank. Punches him, throws him. Well, doesn't throw him through the glass. He goes through the glass window trying to escape. The way that he kicks and punches at the dude after he's out, you can tell that's a 75-year-old man. It doesn't look like a 40.
I agree with that.
Which that I can't really fault. De Niro's a 75-year-old. I don't expect him to go full force.
But overall, it was done well overall, right? But I mean, you can't help but notice those things. But other than that, I liked the movie. I thought it was pretty, it's pretty accurate as far as how they have to do things and how they have to communicate with each other. And, especially in those days, right? You got going back a little bit where you didn't have the kind of surveillance or the technology that you do today. And you can get away with shit if you just do it right. I like that. The trip there to the wedding, like on all the stops and everything, that was, it was a fun watch. It was fun. The acting was good. The directing was good. The story was good. It just was long. I mean, that's the only thing you can say. It was long. I mean, as far as mob movies go, maybe it's not right up there, obviously, with some, with
Goodfellas, Casino, right? Godfather. Yeah.
But this was a good one. It was a good one. And, if you've got the 3 hours, I think it's 3 hours and 15 minutes exactly before the credits kick in for the rest of the time. It's worth the watch. It's a good watch. It's fun. I recommend it.
Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely. And, like I said, a lot of, especially at the scene at the end where they do kill Jimmy Hoffa. Yeah. That's because no one knows aside from
nobody
probably
does.
Dead now that really did it or whoever ordered it. No one really knows how it happened. What it did happen though was when he went to that meeting at the restaurant, but he didn't show up for it. That is legit. That's how he disappeared. That's the last time anyone ever saw him.
And I gotta say,
it's totally fictionalized. That's Frank Sheehan's account. He wasn't there in real life.
But listen, for someone
that's his account of it. I don't know if it's real or not. I personally know it's not because I know that wasn't how it happened. But
probably something like it though.
It's probably very similar. I know for a fact that the body wasn't burned because I watched the documentary and from what I gathered, I think he's at the bottom of one of the Great Lakes. But again, no one knows. Or literally he's in the cornerstone of some union building that they built. Somewhere in one of the unions. I know one of the rumors was that he was in the they put him in the concrete at when they were building the MetLife. That's the biggest, the most frequent rumor you heard about where he was when I was, when in the day when it happened. For someone who lived through that, heard a lot of this speculation about what happened to Jimmy Hoffa. When they killed him, it was I sat there and go, oh, I wonder if that's what happened. And I thought, oh yeah, well, this is a movie. It's probably not exactly, but I felt wow, finally find out what happened to Jimmy Hoffa,
I had that feeling. I guess it's not probably what happened, but I know the big rumor was though he was in the cement of one of the corner.
So if you want, if you are really interested in kind of the history of the mob and kind of sort of they're actually if it's Michael Franzese, who was a former capo with I believe the Columbos, he does like movie reviews and stuff like this on
YouTube,
because he lived the life. He and if you won't watch his review on The Irishman, he talks about how Frank Sheehan wasn't the guy that did it, and that it was that how they showed it in the movie really wasn't how it happened 100%. So if we want to learn more about the actual history behind it, very good information.
It was probably very similar though. Like he totally didn't suspect. They probably came to pick him up to take him to the place. He was in the car and they popped him from the back seat. They put him in the front seat. You're driving, back of the head, it's over. That's probably what happened.
Mm-hmm. Probably like the way they got rid of the body, and I know this again from watching that review on it. He wasn't burned.
No,
the way
probably not.
Michael Franzese said it is he's somewhere very, very wet, which again put the idea it's probably at the bottom of one of the Great Lakes.
Bottom of the lake, or tied with fucking cement blocks,
cement shoes.
Because cement is wet, so I mean, when you first pour it, it's wet. So
no, but I mean that's it. That's how they tie them with weight them down, and then the fish and this whatever eat them over time, and you don't even know who the hell it is. But that's probably what. That's probably what happened. To me, though, I kind of like the theory that he's in the cement. Why? Because in the ocean or a lake or whatever, there's a chance that he could have been found. And identified.
No, the Great Lakes are pretty deep. If they drove him out, if they put him out in the middle,
doesn't matter. It's still there's a chance. And I thought, if they just built a building, who the fuck is going to think he's in the cornerstone of some building? No one's gonna, and who's gonna knock down a building? Just like you're not gonna do that. I kind of thought that's a really good theory. I don't know if that's true. It's just that was the
no one's ever going to know what really happened.
No, that'll never be.
I did also
people are all dead now. People are all dead who knew. Yeah. Right? Everybody who knew.
They're either dead or in jail. Yeah, at this point.
No, at this point they're dead. And
a lot of the old, but I mean,
you say that was in 81. Really? I thought that was in the 70s.
No, I'm pretty sure it was 81. Let me I'll look it up just to be sure.
But,
I thought I was a kid.
Oh, 82 actually.
Oh, so I was more of an adult. I was an adult actually. I didn't know that. Anyway, back then.
Oh, sorry. He actually did just disappear July 30, 75, but he was declared legally dead in 82.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. 75. So in the 70s, because that's what I thought it was. That was like that's all you heard about all over the place. Jimmy Hoffa, where's Jimmy Hoffa? Where's Jimmy Hoffa? It was a big thing when I was young.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's pretty common knowledge that the mob did get rid of him, but again, we'll never know how.
It's not even a question. Mob got rid of him.
Yeah.
But I did like in that movie how they showed, back then and again, if you ever watch a mob documentary or you watch Michael Franzese's channel, he talks about this. Like back then, if you controlled the unions, you controlled the country, and the mob did that probably better than anyone else.
Yeah,
and because they had control of the Teamsters, they basically ran the country, and that's how.
They were influential. They had high influence in a lot of things.
Right, and I don't mean but that's what I mean.
Listen, you want something built? No, unless the fucking union says yeah. Especially in New York, you didn't get anything built if they didn't do it. Like,
but then
if someone told them you're not doing it for that guy, they're not doing shit for you. So yeah, the unions had a lot of power.
Yeah, and I thought the movie did a good job showing that. And I know they did also talk about kind of how the unions were used for to get Kennedy in office and whatnot, because I know they kind of talked about that a little bit in the film. But yeah, and then basically Jimmy Hoffa just got out of jail, didn't want to play ball anymore, and back then you did that, you basically signed your death warrant.
Well, Jimmy Hoffa, this is from the movie, I kind of took it like this stuff I didn't know. He thought he had a lot more power than he had. He had a lot more confidence in the power that he had than he should have had.
Well, right, no, and that was the issue. He basically said, "No, I'm more powerful."
Right, and
that's why I'm more powerful. I don't need you anymore. And they were like,
and that's why he didn't see it coming. And that's why he didn't see it coming. He should have saw that coming. Yeah, but it got into his. This is what I get. It got into his head, and he didn't think they'd do that to him. He's too powerful. You weren't.
No.
All right. How long do we do? Okay, we should probably. No, we got more time if you want. I mean, I don't know where else to go with this though.
The ending.
Oh, the ending. And Matt promised to. You said you. Harry kind of explained it to me, and I like Harry's theory.
Oh, are we on the gift now?
No.
The Irishman.
Irishman. Didn't you say you would explain the ending of that too, or was just the gift?
Yeah. No, I think it was just the.
I said the gift.
Okay.
Yeah, Harry, with me it was Harry, the Irishman. Yeah.
Give your theory on the end.
Yeah.
Let me set it up with this.
Yeah.
We were talking before we started filming, and I said to him, I thought it ended it just ended, and that kind of bothered me. So then he explained how he thought the ending, and I kind of like that. I hadn't thought of that, and because it kind of ends, you see him in his hospital or whatever room. He says to the guy that's leaving, the priest, I think, leave the door open. He leaves it open a little bit. You see him through the crack, and it ends. And I thought, that's a disappointing ending. And Harry gave me a really good explanation, and I'm going to shut up now.
Yeah, So I'll admit I was disappointed as well at first, but then I started thinking about the movie and what we'd been seeing, and I kind of came to this natural conclusion. You guys can, of course, feel free to disagree or agree with me, but we can have a discussion if you want. But basically, I think that it all basically means nothing, almost. Like, we see him as a mobster and he's trying to protect his family, but it didn't matter because now he's alone. He's about to die. We see him picking out his casket a little bit earlier. He knows he's about to die. His friend Russell Buffalino died when they were both in jail.
All his friends were dead.
Yeah, I love the line that
with everybody that was important and that was dead. He's the last one.
Yeah, I love the line that he delivers. By the way, is that when he's in the jail, he's saying something along the lines of, Russell, he went to church, then he went to the hospital, then he went to the graveyard. I love that line in there. I think that's such a good line.
It's like death and taxes.
Exactly.
That, right? It's kind of like
something like that. Yeah. Oh, he went to church, then he went to the hospital, then he went to the graveyard. I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, all his friends are dead or they're in jail. He has nobody around him. His family won't talk to him.
The cop that's trying to get the story where Hoffa is.
Yeah, trying to get the
to him. Yeah. Everybody's dead.
Yeah, everybody's dead.
There's nobody
you
left.
Have nobody
to
protect.
One.
You don't need to protect anybody. And he's like, no, right. I'm not saying anything. Yeah, there's that. His family won't talk to him. The daughter that he's really trying to get to, Peggy, she wants nothing to do with him. He goes to the bank where she works, and he's in crutches. He's clearly doing poor. She puts the next teller thing. She walks away. She doesn't want anything to do with him. So he's in the hospital. He's all alone. All he has left is this priest, who he basically doesn't even know. He's just a priest. He goes in, he prays with. He's trying to basically get that last second redemption, I guess, really.
Yeah.
And just wishes him Merry Christmas. Tells him to leave the door open. And the reason I think that he does that is because he's hoping someone comes in, that by leaving his door open, he shows that he's awake. He wants someone to come by. He's hoping that Peggy will come. But when they zoom out, nobody's coming and it closes, that's the end of his life. He's going to die soon. Nobody comes to visit him. He just dies alone and by himself and with no money left. None
of it mattered in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. None of it really mattered. He didn't need to be in the mob, really.
And all his anger and all his sense of protecting and doing the bad things to protect his family, and he didn't have his family anyway.
Yep. No. Yeah.
Yeah. I like your explanation. It kind of.
Thank you.
And I think you're spot on, Harry. And again,
thank you.
Again, someone who I love kind of the history of the mob and again, kind of watching documentaries and listening to people speak about it. Like, that whole movie is basically showing like, the mob isn't glamorous at all.
No.
And, you watch listen to any podcast, watch any of I'll plug Michael Franzese again because again it's a great source of information because again he talks a lot about all this stuff on his channel. But basically, if you're in that life, more often than not, everybody you know is going to wind up dead or in jail, and you'll end up losing your family because they'll find out what you like.
I know that firsthand. I know this stuff firsthand. My dad used to do. Right. I can talk about it because he's passed now. My dad used to do legit business with the Irish mob and the Italian mob here. So he had a business, and they ran money through him. So we had a lot of contacts. My bar mitzvah, I had the head of the Italian mob there, and the head of the Irish mob at the time was like my uncle. He'd come over. I remember buying beer for this guy at 8 a.m. one morning. I had to go to the store and buy beer. I was 16 or 17. So yeah, so I have some experience in that. When I was like 4 or 5, I want to say, my dad's business partner was murdered by the mob, shot in the back of the head at Blue Bonnets over here, and thrown in the trunk of his car and left there. That's how he was found. He was Uncle Teddy. He used to grab us. We used to jump down the stairs into his arms, and he'd grab it. He was this big, strong dude. So my dad's best friend, one of his best friends as a kid, was a lawyer for the mob, also a lawyer for the boxing family, the Hilton brothers. And he was shot dead in his car in Mount TMR. And my dad's one of his best friends as a kid. So I've got a little bit of personal knowledge of the mob and how it works. And it is not glamorous because you're right.
No. Right.
You end up
dead or in jail. Everyone that you had a relationship with, that you've been friends with, is going to end up dead or in jail. And
again,
if you
don't end up dead, you end up dead inside. And that was the point at the end.
Yeah.
Is what he was. He was dead inside.
Right. No, you're exactly right. It just shows that, like, hey, listen, you saw his whole life in the mob, and yet again, as more often than not, you just wind up with nothing. It's not worth it. It really isn't. That type of life just wasn't, because again, you more often than not, everyone that you knew was either going to die or end up in jail. So it's just kind of showing, hey, it's not a glamorous thing to get into.
Back at that time, I guess because my dad was involved with these people, he owned a gun. So we're talking about in the early 70s. So I don't know what year.
Again, still when the mob was kind of at its heyday as well. So
yeah, well, he owned a gun. He didn't carry it, but he owned a gun. How do I know this? I think it was like 72 or 73. My cousin and I, like I'm 10, he's 9. We lived in a house in St. Laurent, big house, had a laundry room. We're playing on the machines, and there's a big shelf unit. And I don't know why we reached up. We were trying to climb up on top of the cabinet thing, and there's a gun. Pull it down. It's a fucking Smith & Wesson, short nose, silver. The fuck? I pointed at my cousin. Bang, 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 bang. He points it at me. We put it away because we were worried about getting caught. Years later, I tell my dad this story. He goes white. Why? Because that gun was loaded. I could have just pulled the trigger and shot my dad. He could have shot me. So guns are not good. I was very lucky, and my cousin's very lucky that we're both.
Yeah.
He's no longer still with us, unfortunately, but not because of that.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
So yeah, interesting story. I got some interesting stories.
Yeah, you gotta share more.
But again, as you explained, like these guys that your dad grew up with, I mean, one day they're just in the trunk of their car, gone. Again, it's what happens in the mob, in that life.
Uncle Teddy was here one day. Next day, we heard he was dead. No explanation. I didn't get an explanation, obviously, till I was an adult. My dad told me what happened. But yeah. Shit. All right. After that happy news.
Shit.
You know what, though? The Irishman, kind of a movie like that, right? Where where something could be like kind of funny, and then boom, you get this, this crashing reality of their situation and
how violent and all that shit it is.
Yeah, the first like 45 minutes are kind of fun because De Niro's truck breaks down, he meets Pesci, fixes the truck for him, and they're first starting to get to know each other. It's a little fun. Yeah, it's almost like okay, this is gonna be another Goodfellas or Casino, and then around that 1 hour mark, it just kind of turns.
Yeah,
and it's sort of when you meet Jimmy Hoffa, which is weird because Hoffa's a very not flamboyant, but he's a very out there character. At least portrayed by Pacino. He's a very
you're absolutely right. That's exactly how he was in real life.
He was like a politician.
Yeah, he's
very the head of the Teamsters.
Yeah.
I mean, back then, like I said, I mean, the Teamsters are one of, if not the most influential union in the country. My grandfather, my mom's dad, he was a Teamster. He was a truck driver for the Globe.
I was a Teamster. I worked for ICS Courier here in Canada.
Yeah.
When I was there, I hurt my shoulder, so I was out. Come back, and they're trying to unionize. We unionized with the Teamsters Union. So I was a Teamster for, I think I was there a year and a half after that. So I was a Teamster for a year and a half. Had the little thing badge. You know what it got me though? Being in the union, it got me a raise, enough to pay the dues. I'm not saying unions are bad or anything, but I don't know. It didn't do anything.
But like you watch this movie, right? And you kind of see why, what else was going on during that time when the mob was in control, because it wasn't just the influence. They were skimming off of the pension funds.
Oh yeah.
They were taking money. So
well, mob, they don't do anything legal.
I know.
Per se, yeah. If they can find a loophole, they're gonna use it.
But think about it too. The team, if you have control of the Teamsters, you basically have control of shipping throughout the whole country.
Yeah, of course. But it just goes to show you have power, or you're of that type, you're gonna be doing nasty things. And we did the Sisters Brothers. That's how they were back then, right? They weren't hired killers, or they did whatever the fuck was available to do that they could do that was not a job and that they could make money from.
Yeah.
Basically the same thing. All right, let's see. We're a long time on this. 5 stars.
Oh,
what do you give it?
I'll go first. 5 out of 5. I love these type of movies. Like I said, my dad loved these type of movies. Just all around 5 out of 5 stars. Loved the historical context. It was very well acted, and I thought all the actors really played the parts of their real life counterparts almost to a T.
Mm-hmm.
They did really, really well.
I agree.
Wow.
I'll
go next. I'm gonna give it 4 stars, and it was a little bit long. It's really kind of a nitpick. It's 3.5 hours long. It's 3:15 if you exclude the credits.
Yeah.
It is a little bit long. I think you probably could have cut it down to 2:45, maybe 2.5 hours. But that being said, everything that you are given in the movie does feel like you need to know it. A lot of it is very much, hey, here's just to give extra detail to what's going to happen. A lot of it is very needed. Some of you probably could have cut back, but I'm glad that we did get that to make you feel like you really are there. Scorsese, fantastic directing as always. He gets the most out of any actor that he works with.
He really does. And it felt like a memoir, which is what it was. It was based on the book that Frank Sheehan wrote. And it really did feel like that.
Yeah, and I Heard You Paint Houses, I believe is the name of it, I think.
It's called The
Irishman. That makes sense.
Which I'll admit, as good of a title as The Irishman is for a Scorsese film, the movie should have been called I Heard You Paint Houses. I think that would have been a really good title.
I don't disagree. Yeah,
which is funny because they do have that in the intro. They have The Irishman, and then they have
Do you know what that means, though, that terminology? I heard you paint houses? Because it has nothing to do with painting houses.
Yeah, no, I know they mentioned it's because the fucking blood splatters and they get on the wall.
If back then, if someone said, hey, I heard you paint houses, it means, hey, I heard you're a hitman. You're a hitman, yeah.
Kind of like this Sopranos could have been called Sanitation Man.
Well, that was another big thing about that. Even
I don't know. I just threw that out there.
Sopranos, but before that too, it was the Teamsters, and then like the garbage industry basically is how construction is how they
garbage man. There you go, the garbage man.
And you know what? Sanitation Man could have been a decent title for the Sopranos. That actually could have been.
I think so. I mean, that's what he was listed as, right, on his tax.
Yeah, it was something garbage. Yeah,
and sanitation.
cleaning up the garbage for the mob.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But yeah, for a star rating again, I'm gonna go 4. I don't give it that 5 just because it's not a movie I'm gonna watch over and over again. I don't think it's a movie that many people are gonna watch over and over again. It's very depressing at the end. It's very bleak. It's a good movie. It's a very good movie. It's a Scorsese. It's a great one.
Dark.
But
it's nothing happy about it.
Yeah, no. But like, it's a lot darker than Goodfellas or Casino because you kind of go in, you have fun with those movies, and at the end, it's like, oh no, you got caught or whatever. Usually at the end, but like with this movie again, it's last like hour. That's like very bleak. It's not happy to watch. It's not hard to watch, but it's just more so. It's just dark. It's depressing. But it's a very good movie. It's a very good one. So like I said, I'm gonna go 4 stars. Great cast, like Matt said. That's a fantastic cast. Again, shout out my boy Jesse Plemons. Gotta watch Kinds of Kindness when that comes out. Good movie. Shout out Hunter Schafer. She's in that movie. Love Hunter Schafer. So I don't hate all women. Go back to just Rosie O'Donnell. But yeah, no. Irishman, very good movie. Rick, what's your star rating?
I kind of agree with both you guys pointing all that. So I'm gonna go with 4.5 stars. And the half missing is it was long.
Yeah.
But I'll agree with what Matt said. Is it's not like they put in detail for just to extend the length of the movie. It was needed. I don't think they wasted any details.
No, I didn't honestly, of the 3 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah, I agree. I don't think any of it was wasted. It was all relevant, and it helped tell that story. Really helped it feel like a memoir.
Yeah, I didn't get it to be, long like that. So I just, it was long, but I mean, the acting, everything was good about it. The writing, it just was all good. So 4.5, just so I'm in between you guys.
All right, perfect. All right.
I definitely recommend seeing it, even though it's that long. If you like that type of movie or those actors, go see it. It's worth it.
Yeah. All right, now we're on to my personal favorite of the bunch. This is the one that I absolutely love. I've seen it a handful of times now.
I'm just gonna go for a second. I'll be right back. Continue. I'm gonna take myself off camera. I'll be right back.
All right.
When it comes back, I gotta bounce too for a minute.
All right. But we're gonna talk about.
I gotta go change a little laundry real quick.
Oh, all right. We're gonna talk about Whiplash from 2014. This is love this movie.
If you are a J.K. Simmons fan, like the way how intense he acted this role as the teacher, I loved it. I mean, he's such a good, and again, he's one of those actors. He's been all over the place. Drama, obviously, he was in Spider-Man as J. Jonah Jameson. But again, everything that I've seen him in, he's been fantastic, and I love the intensity that he brought to this role because I think it was needed, in this particular type of drama. And I like Miles Teller in this, and I'm a huge Miles Teller fan as well.
Yes.
Yes. Not only because he's a big Notre Dame guy like myself, but again, I've seen a lot of movies of his, and again, I think he's just a terrific actor, really terrific actor.
I love him too. It sucks that he's gotten the reputation of being hard to work with just because he's a good actor. I want to see him in more stuff. I love Miles Teller. Real quick, funny enough, I watched Project X the other day, and I completely forgot he was in that. That's a really good movie. That's a really fun movie.
So I don't think I've seen Project X yet.
It's the one where
I know what it is.
Yeah.
With the monkey.
Yeah, it's not quite, Rick. Not quite.
Oh, I thought there was a movie like that with Matthew Broderick or something. Something like that.
Monkeys.
You talking about Ferris Bueller?
The Ferris Bueller guy, yeah, but there was someone with monkeys. Anyway,
Matthew Broderick monkey movie. I gotta look this up. Oh, that's the one from the 80s, Project X. Oh, okay,
right.
No. Okay, no, we're talking about the one from 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but yeah, fuck, I did not realize that's what the other Project X was a monkey movie. But yeah, so Whiplash. We'll get into the plot and all that. But firstly, I will say, Matt, I do agree with you. J.K. Simmons, phenomenal in this movie. Absolutely love.
So did he get nominated for an Oscar for this?
Yeah,
he must have.
Did he? Because I don't care. I can't remember if he won, but I'm pretty sure he got nominated. And I think Whiplash also got nominated. The film itself.
He won for Best Supporting Actor at the Academy Awards.
Because I know this is my favorite role that he's ever been in because he was just unreal. And I know Whiplash, I think, got nominated. The film itself got nominated for a bunch of stuff.
Yep, for Best Picture, it did get nominated. Unfortunately, didn't win. Probably should have. But okay, never mind. It lost to Birdman so that's actually probably the only other movie that had contention that year. So
yeah.
Though I will be honest, I would probably watch Whiplash over Birdman, but they're both phenomenal movies. But
I'd watch
Whiplash
for sure.
Yeah, so this movie Whiplash, it's about a jazz drummer, Andrew Naiman, who's played by Miles Teller. He attends the Schaefer Conservatory. English is hard, I know. But the Schaefer Conservatory, he ends up getting picked by Terrence Fletcher, played by J.K. Simmons, J.K. Simmons, to be a part of his group that he teaches, and he ends up, he ends up. I think that's kind of the best place to put it. Is he gets picked, and Simmons is a little more than what he expected at first. He demands perfection out of his students, and he's gonna get it out of you one way or another.
Yeah.
Just a great film. So the director and writer, Damien Chazelle, he's also directed La La Land, First Man, and Babylon. Those were his 3 most recent films. He also was a writer for Grand Piano, which I've heard is a great movie with Elijah Wood, and he also wrote. He also did some rewrites, apparently, for 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I did not know that until looking it up.
Yeah, I haven't heard good things about that film. I've seen the original.
I've heard it started out as a very good concept, but
with John Goodman?
The one with John Goodman. It's the house.
It was.
Yeah, I heard it was a very good concept to start, but then the rewrites kind of like muddled it. They kind of forced the Cloverfield thing in, I believe, last minute, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know what it had to do with that.
I think it's like they mentioned the monster or something.
Yeah,
which sucks because I really like the concept of John Goodman thinking someone's his daughter or whatever. Like, it sounds like it could have been a really good movie, but
it wasn't.
But clearly he's better when he's able to direct and write on his own, because this movie is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
Cast: Miles Teller plays Andrew Naiman, J.K. Simmons plays Terrence Fletcher, Paul Reiser, I believe how you say his name, plays Jim Naiman, Andrew's father.
Reiser.
Paul Reiser, thank you. And Melissa Benoist plays Nicole, who is this person who works at the movie theater. She dates Andrew for a bit. Very lucky on both ends. But both of them very lucky. But no, I actually, it's funny. I want to mention this real quick. Miles Teller, I didn't notice this until the last time he visited, but my uncle looks a lot like Miles Teller. He realized he's gotten Miles Teller a lot. So that's kind of cool. So technically I get a picture of them. I can put it up sometime and say, hey, I met Miles Teller. But yeah. So Whiplash. My first question is, I wasn't sure which one to start out with, but I'm just gonna start. How fucking good is J.K. Simmons in this movie? That's my first question.
This is the first movie I've heard of him in, and I always wanted to watch it, and it looked really good. Mm-hmm. And I've seen him in a lot of other movies, and he's good. But man, he was really intense. I mean, I think that's the right word.
I spoke about that at the beginning, like just the amount of intensity he brought to this role, and I think he needed to because of the type of character that Fletcher is.
Yeah,
just absolutely 10 out of 10 over the moon. It was so good. Like you really felt that J.K. Simmons really was like that much of an ass, right? Just
you don't see J.K. character. You see Terrence Fletcher. You're not thinking, damn, J.K. Simmons is an asshole. You're thinking that Fletcher is an asshole.
Especially at the end. And I don't know what we'll get there, but at the end.
Oh
my God. Oh my God. I love the way that end unfolded. Let's get our way there because
we'll make our way there. There's one scene I want to talk about, and it's very early on. It's the first scene I think where Miles Teller's in J.K. Simmons' class. All right, no problem, Matt. It's the first scene where he's in his class, and there's J.K. Simmons keeps stopping them, starting them over, stopping them, starting them over, and he realizes someone's out of tune, and it's just the way that scene is done, and he's like, "Were you out of tune?" It's like, and the fat kid, he's trembling. He's like, "Were you out of tune?" It's like, "Yes." And it said, "Why the fuck are you still here?" Just the way he yells at him, and you could see the rage in J.K. Simmons' face.
And it wasn't even the guy that was. It wasn't.
He just goes back to his thing. He's like, by the way, it wasn't him who was out of tune, but you're flat or whatever. And he's like, it doesn't matter if he wasn't out of tune. It's the fact that he didn't know if he was or not. And it's something like that. It's like, oh my God, like you almost get what he's going for, but you don't like the way he's doing it. But it's at the same time.
No, he's abusive.
Like, he's very abusive, but you love the acting. Like when you look at it as a film, you love the acting he brings. And Andrew Neiman, I think
you don't like his character.
No, but you love the acting behind
I don't think there's any point in the movie.
Well, the acting and writing, because a lot of it has to go to Damien Chazelle for the way he wrote the character as well, I think.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the character. It's not a character you go, well, you like the guy. You don't. There's nothing really about him that
not at all.
No.
Yeah, and even Andrew Neiman, to an extent, you don't really like him in a way. I don't think you're meant to really like him. I think you're meant to identify him a little bit. I definitely...
Where he's kind of with his girlfriend there, like
where in the cafe where he tries to let her down easy, but it's like she just basically comes out and says, "Oh, so you think I'd be holding you back?" He's like, "Yeah, you would be." Like that you don't really feel sympathetic for him, but like when he is getting abused by Fletcher in the class and he's pushing him, like you do really feel bad for him. So, and I think it's a really good story as well of what kind of like obsession can do, because Andrew Neiman, Andrew mentions it several times. He wants to be the best. He wants to be the best jazz drummer. He wants to be the best, and he pushes himself.
Watching Buddy Rich, I mean, that was
he's always listening to music. He's listening, paying attention to the drums, and he wants to be the best. And there's a couple scenes where you see it right in the beginning of the film, and you see it a couple times where he's practicing. He's doing different fills and whatever, and he's doing different rhythms. And there's the one scene, I think it's beautifully done, beautifully directed, beautifully shot, beautifully acted. It's the one where I forget if Fletcher says that he could end up being the third chair, but the third man, basically, where they're in that drumming rotation. And he's doing it, he's putting his hand in the ice. You see his sticks are bloody, the blood all on the drums, and he keeps going, and he just yells and punches the shit out of his snare. Like, just, I love that. Like, it's such a good representation where you can tell how obsessed he is, but they don't need to tell you, oh, Andrew, you're too obsessed with the drums. It's very big on the show don't tell rule, and the way they show it in those types of scenes is so good. And I absolutely love so much about this film, and especially stuff like that.
I'm gonna tell you, if you are expected to be as good as the teacher wanted them to be, you have to have that dedication, or you're not going to get there.
Absolutely. And that's something as well, is that, you know, I think J.K. Simmons, obviously his character is very abusive. I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best. It's just a matter of which that he's trying to get it out of his students.
Right.
But at the same time, you do understand his point of view, because he explains it in a later scene that it's something I can't do it justice. Go watch the movie. I'll just say that. Go watch the movie. But basically he explains it as, oh, well, if you tell somebody good job, they're not going to push to improve. But if you tell them they sucked, they're going to want to, you know, get better. And he tells the story. I think it's about Buddy Rich. Sorry.
And also the point was to make them hate me so much that they're going to prove me wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. And he tells the story. I forget if it's a Buddy Rich where he got laughed off stage. Gets a cymbal thrown at him,
right?
But he practices and comes back next year, and everybody's blown out of the water. So you kind of get where he's coming from. You just don't like that he's doing this, and I actually really like that. They make you understand the character. He's not just this strict villain who is supposed to be the antagonist. No, you understand him. He's a legitimate human being. You understand his motivation for abusing his students constantly, and I really, really love that in this film.
And I think, you know what, just to go back to the ending, what I was talking about, how it will get to it, but how it unfolds, it gives you both sides of that.
Yes.
And this part of him, or that whatever mean part, and then that other part, that good part, it comes out, and we'll get to a reason why.
Yeah, we will. I have it as one of my questions. I have the ending in two different questions, which...
Okay, good.
Yeah, I want to wait until Matt gets back, because I feel like we need all three to talk about the ending, because I know all three of us love this movie. Yeah, no problem. God, yeah, as well, I got to mention, I really like Andrew's... the scene where Andrew is at his family home, and they've got all the family coming over, and he's sort of portrayed as the one who gets not necessarily neglected, like it's abused, but he's the one that's like, oh, you're drumming, okay, cool, good for you. They focus on the two who are playing football or whatever, and
football, and the other guy, what was he? He's making big money or something doing.
Yeah,
something.
he's doing so. He runs some type of company, or he's like involved with some type of company. That I forget, but yeah. And I also love that scene because it doesn't just show Andrew as like, oh, he's the neglected one, kind of. He wants to make everyone proud. He also can take it. You know, I love at the end of that scene where, you know, they're talking about, you know, oh, Andrew, I hear you're drumming, and he tells them, yeah, he's at Schaefer and all that, and you can kind of tell they don't really understand it as much as with the other two, and they describe what they're doing, and I love at the end how he's like, oh, so he's comparing basically, or no, the guy who's playing football says, oh, you think you're better than me just because you're at Schaefer or whatever, and he's mentioning it, and he says, fuck, the dude says something along the lines of.
He does. He kind of says, "Yeah, I do," and he says something.
Yeah, I do. Which
makes fun of him.
Yeah, they make fun of. They kind of go back at each other for a second, and it basically ends with the dude saying, "Oh, we'll call you back" or something like that. And I love the last line from Andrew. He says, "4 words you will never hear from the NFL," and I love that because it's like, oh my god, because he's bragging about like a 90-foot touchdown or something at like Division 3, and he's saying he plays Division 3. It's not that impressive, or whatever.
Right?
Like I love that. I love that scene because again, you could have easily had that be like, oh, well, you're a nothing drummer or whatever, and he just takes it. You know, feel sympathetic for him, but he takes it and he can dish it. I love that they feature that.
Motivation for putting up with the other guy.
Exactly.
His reason for his dedication is something.
And plus, like he starts as the backup officer because he's only like 19. He's like he's easily the youngest person in the band, I think. But he starts out as the guy who just flips the notes or whatever. He's the sub or whatever. He gets the first chair, and then after he messes up at a performance, we can talk about that whole scene. We can talk about the scene where they're at the big show or whatever. We can talk about both of those scenes actually because there's 2. And then he ends up becoming almost the third guy, and yeah.
Did we get to the part where J.K. Simmons hummed the chair? Was it Miles Teller's head?
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that. Oh my god, yeah.
I think that's also
in the first scene.
I'm not a jazz drummer. I'm a rock drummer.
Oh,
but like that, I was just like, whoa! Like when he got that mad, he just went, boom! I was like that would have just scared the crap out of him.
The story about throwing the cymbal at the guy's head, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the way are you getting to where he set him up before he got fired? Before I think it was where he got attacked because Miles
no, that's at the end. That's the no, that's not. We'll get to that in a second.
Because he's so fed up, he actually attacks him and he punches him and
so that scene, that's this big like 10-15 minute segment of the film where
they're at a competition.
Yeah, they're going to the competition,
and he changes the routine. He changes the songs, so he doesn't know what he's playing now.
Yeah, and it's because he lost the book.
Yeah.
He accidentally puts it right beside him to get a drink, and he looks back, it's gone.
Right.
And basically he mentions that he knows a song, and so he goes up to do it, and the song ends up being changed. He doesn't do it right, and this is actually after. Wait, no. This is the scene where he has the car crash. Yeah, it's the scene where he has the car crash because he's. Yeah.
Right, and
okay, I was thinking of the one earlier where he misplaces the book.
No, that's right.
He forgets his stick.
He's got to be there on time, and he
forgets his sticks at the place where he's renting the car. And he has to drive back at his sticks. Gets in the car crash, grabs his sticks. He rushes back. And basically, he says like, we're already going on. You lost it or whatever. And he says, no, I'm fucking going on. He goes on, and that's when the song ends up being changed. He messes up because he doesn't know it, obviously.
Yeah.
And he ends up tackling J.K. Simmons. He gets his studentship or whatever it's called
gets thrown out,
completely terminated. Yeah.
J.K.
And then
gets fired.
And he ends up getting Fletcher fired because earlier in the film, it's told to us that formerly a student of his, had killed themselves because we don't find out first right away. But no. Sorry. he gets into a car accident and he dies.
And dies.
Yeah.
Student he really
And-
respected.
Yeah, he was very well respected. Fletcher plays one of his things in class one day. And I actually really like the way that scene was done as well. If I can talk about that for a second, because it's during the scene where they're drumming or whatever, and Andrew Neiman gets passed up by one of the other. I forget which one it was, but he gets passed up by one of the drummers. He goes in, he says, "I can play it." He just got on the phone call, and he's, "I can play." Is like, but Simmons snaps at him again, and you realize after he says that, like, he just got the call that his student killed himself. That's why he snaps at him. It's not a
car accident. But no, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I remember it a little differently. They're all waiting on the guy. Guy comes in late. You can see there's something wrong. J.K. Simmons' character.
Yeah.
He puts music on.
And he says, "This is one of my students. He got into a car crash." No. But the scene right before, I mean, when he gets the phone call and it's the two guys that are competing for the drumming spot, and Andrew Neiman loses out, and he goes in the office and says, I can play it, and Simmons is just there with his head down or whatever. That's the scene right before that, and then you get that scene, and that's when you realize, oh shit, he just got that call or whatever. But yeah,
he's human too.
You see that, you discover that in that scene, because he, despite the fact he does abuse the students, you can tell he does want the best for them. He does want them to be successful. Yeah, and I love that. But
he kind of explained it though at the end there. Where he said he never had one of those.
Yeah, Buddy Rich type student. Yeah, he wanted the next Buddy Rich or whatever.
Yeah, and I guess he thought that kid was gonna be it.
Yeah, and so Fletcher, he ends up getting fired because Andrew Neiman, he talks to a lawyer after what happened, and they find out that the kid that got into a car accident actually killed themselves, and the parents think it was because of Fletcher's abuse, and then that's when Neiman says, and I love it. It's a great scene because he doesn't want to at first. He doesn't want to testify because like, oh well, what if he finds? No, he does because what happens is he says, oh no, I don't want to, and then at first, but then he's thinking about what happened, and then he says, what do you want me to say? And then the scene cuts.
Oh, so they don't show it, right? They don't show him.
Yeah, no, because he basically does. And then there's the scene where...
Wait a second, I challenge that because at the end, he tells him...
I knew it was you slimy fuck or whatever.
Right, so
yeah,
he couldn't have testified and it was out. Like, he did it sneakily. It
was secretly, but he kind of knew because,
Yeah.
So, okay. and that's a question I do have that we'll get to in a second. And actually, I might as well mention it here because it's in the scene. The scene where Andrew goes to the little jazz bar or whatever, where Fletcher's playing the piano with
him again.
Yeah, meets him, they talk. Does Fletcher know at this point that it was Andrew? What? Because I was. No. But does he? No, because obviously he knows at the end at that JVC fest. But does he know at this point when he invites him? Does he know it was Andrew?
Okay, I'm going to explain it this way. So they talk about whatever they talked about, right?
Yeah, he mentioned that he
asked him. They said goodbye. Andrew's walking away. He goes, "Oh,
Andrew. By the way, I got this big."
That was the setup. He wanted to make sure the kid did no idea.
But I would ask, does he know before or does he know while they're talking about it? Does he only realize when they're talking about it?
No, I think he knew before.
I kind of think so too. Matt, what do you think? Does Fletcher know in that scene at the jazz bar? Does he know that it was Andrew who was the one who got him fired, or do you think he only realized during that scene?
No, I think he knew the whole way. The way that character is, I think he's pretty cerebral.
He knew. He
knew.
Yeah, it was just a chance meeting, right? And that's how devious the guy's mind can be. Is in that chance meeting. He figured it out what he's gonna do to him.
Yeah. Oh shit! I got this thing coming up. The drummer's not that good.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Honestly, what I like to think actually, he had a better drummer than Andrew scheduled, but his vengeance. He wanted to get his revenge. He told Andrew that fake story that he's not that good. We need a better drummer.
Yeah,
I like to think he had a better drummer.
Yeah, that you could, and you might not, and it all works. I think. Yeah,
right. I mean, granted, the fact he has a better drummer, that kind of does make him out to be more of like a super villain-esque thing that he would do.
I look at it like this: he didn't care about his drummer,
Yeah, he just cared about Naaman at that moment.
And whatever. That drummer didn't matter. He wanted him in there so he could do what he was going to do.
Yeah. Which we'll get to. It does, because what happens is, Naaman, he mentions he hadn't been drumming for a while, but yeah, he'll come by, or he doesn't say he'll come by.
He doesn't say he'll do it.
He said, I'll take a weekend, think about it, and whatever.
Right, and in that time, he decides he's gonna do it, and he decides
and the great
to get ready without telling him, so he gets all prepared.
And what I love as well, is during that scene where he's getting ready, he calls up, what's her name? He calls up Nicole. And he asks, "Oh, do you want to come by this weekend?" Hoping to reconnect. And I love that she just says, "I'll have to see with my boyfriend." Yeah. And you can tell right there, Andrew's like, "I fucked up. I didn't think about
that."
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Such a good little moment there. Yeah. Like, now I'll admit, I don't think they should have gotten back together. I don't know how you guys feel. I just think that it would have ended up being toxic, regardless.
Oh yeah, because he's still toxic at that point.
Yeah.
I would think he afterward, like if the movie ended and you go after beyond that, he'd be different with how it worked
possibly,
out.
Yeah.
So,
but so
I just want to say this. So at the point we're at, right? So he asks him, and he's non-committal.
Yeah, he
goes home, thinks about it, and decides, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get ready, but I'm not telling him that I'm going to be there. I'm going to assume he invited me. He's expecting me.
Yeah.
And if I'm correct,
it backfires on both of them.
No, but he gets there and he's not. He go, "Oh, you showed up!" Like to go along with, like, I wasn't expecting you to be here.
Yeah. Right? Like, and so they get on stage, no, he tells them, because at the bar he tells them, "Oh, we're using the school song list, so you know it."
Right.
He gives him that false sense of security. Right. They go up and he says, "We're going to do an arrangement of songs, but we're going to start out with a new one." And at that moment, Andrew knows, you son of a bitch, you played me, or whatever.
Right.
And so they do the song.
He gives him that smile. Well, he comes over at some point and he whispers, "I know it was you."
Yeah. We're saying, "I know it was you," almost like it's fucking Al Pacino. But no, like, he comes over, he says, "I know it was you slimy fuck," or something like that. While he's drumming too, so it's not like he can just get up and punch him. He says it while he's drumming.
While he's playing poorly on
this song. Trying to figure it out. He doesn't have the thing, because he doesn't. He's like, okay, it's the school songs, I know them.
He doesn't have the music.
But the song, they do the song. He's not that good, and he's sitting back there, and Simmons just kind of insults him. He's like, "Oh, some of us got overzealous or whatever," and he said, "Oh, next song we're doing," and boom, gets right into Caravan. He just starts fucking playing Caravan. And
okay, but wait a second. You're making it a little easier than it was, though, because he was still struggling, and he was telling him it was not at the right pace or something.
Yeah, faster.
He had to struggle. Yeah, faster.
Yeah. The bassist next to him, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing?"
And his hands are still bleeding from, he's still got that
problem. Yeah, he's got
he's going, and he gets it. And he gets it. And he's that student, and he's that guy, and he's perfect.
Does he get it on the song that he doesn't know?
I'm pretty sure he had. Isn't it?
I didn't remember.
I thought so. And he gets it. He gets the beat. He gets the speed, everything. And the mean son of a bitch sees that is that student.
Yeah, he's that Buddy Rich that he wanted.
With him, and they're like as one. That's how I saw it.
Yeah. And he almost comes over. He's like, "Slow it down." Or no. That's during Caravan. But yeah, the song finishes, and he does it. I'll take your word for it. He eventually gets it. And you said, "Oh, some of us are a little overzealous on that one."
He gets it big time, and that's the focus there at the end, where he gets it, and he's like that drummer that he wanted to be.
Yeah,
I'm the best drummer ever.
Yeah.
He got. He was playing like that.
And like I said, J.K. Simmons, I think he wants to start Whiplash, which is the title.
Maybe that's what it was. It was that song.
Yeah, he wants to get Whiplash, but Andrew goes into Caravan because it starts with the drums, so he just goes into it. And he looks over, "I'll cue you in," and he cues everybody in, and it's almost like that's where they become one, because he gets it down. He's on perfect tempo the whole song, and Fletcher comes over during a certain part. Slow it down, he's almost guiding Andrew still through the song, like
slowed him right down.
During the part where
back up
during the part Yeah, because the part with the snare where it just kind of just
And they
slows all the
show
way
the
down.
scene is that he got he was perfect.
Yeah, and like it's just so perfect, and then
He
they
was
show him speeding it
perfect.
up eventually, and
Yeah.
like I love that he doesn't just make it like, oh, the son of a bitch is actually doing good, but he comes over and he's proud of him that he's actually getting it, and he helps him out. He's like, faster, a little faster.
From hating him and trying to get revenge.
Yeah, to this guy was who I thought he was.
Basking in the greatness of the drumming that he just witnessed.
Yeah, it's very much like the meme. I'm sure Matt's seen it, but it's the football coach. He goes, "He is who they are, who we thought they were." Yeah. And it's almost like fucking Fletcher's that in that moment. It's like he's who I thought he was, and it makes him proud. And the final 7 minutes of this film have no dialogue. It's exclusively there's a little dialogue from Simmons, but it's focused on Caravan. It's focused on Andrew performing, and I absolutely love that.
And that what passed between them went from I got you. I'm gonna fuck you up so bad to like, wow, I can't believe I'm witnessing that drummer that I've been waiting for.
Yeah, and and I love that the movie, it doesn't continue. As soon as that last note hits, boom, fade to black. You get what you get.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I would have loved to see a little more, just because the movie's so good already. It's such a good movie.
Away from the.
It would have if it didn't end right there.
Yeah.
Like I like that it also leaves it up to you. Like, does Andrew fall back into that abused mentality where he goes back to Fletcher and he becomes a student again? Or does he say, no, fuck you, I know how good I am, and he goes elsewhere? I like that it almost leaves that up to you as well.
I see it differently. I see them actually forming a bond where he's finally got the student that he's and he gives them that respect, and they can actually relate to each other and have mutual respect for their greatness and how they can help each other.
Okay.
That's how I saw it.
I like that.
Compare with the Whiplash 2, that's what I would think is now the teacher got bad respect for the student.
Yeah.
And vice versa, and they do big things together.
Yeah, admittedly, I would love to see Whiplash 2. I don't think it's ever going to happen, obviously.
No, it would have happened
unless they wait 20, 30 years and do it where, like, Andrew's almost becoming like a Fletcher. Like, like the student is now the master.
Yeah,
like that, which I'd love to see, admittedly.
Yeah, okay.
But it's going to take a long time to get there.
Yeah, well. But no, it was a really good movie. Okay, let's get to a rating because we got one more to do.
Yeah, we got
a lot longer on that one.
But yeah, Whiplash, just before we get into the star rating, phenomenal film. I can't recommend it enough. Everybody plays their part perfectly.
Yeah.
There's not one role, not even an extra, where they don't do a good job. The only thing I will say is, as a drummer, you can kind of tell, like, if you play the drums, and I'm sure Matt can point this out as well, there's some moments where the drumming doesn't match exactly, not even just in Caravan, but just throughout, where it's like, you're supposed to be hitting the toms, and you're still on the snare.
Too much. Like, again, the only people that can pick that up,
not about the actual drumming.
I noticed nothing of that.
It doesn't really take away much.
No, it's cool because I did notice it's like, that's not where you're supposed to be hitting, and it didn't take away, but it was more like, I caught that, don't think you can get that past me. But yeah, no, it definitely doesn't matter because it's not a movie that's really about the drums, it's more so about the characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a phenomenal film, and I want to bring that up because I thought it was kind of funny to
well, give your rating since you said all that. Give your rating.
All right, my rating is gonna be 1 out of 10 because the drumming. No, it's obviously it's a 5 out of 5. I love this movie. It's weird. It was almost kind of faltering before I watched it again last week. It was like, it's good. It's not that great, but yeah, no, it's phenomenal. It's an incredible film. I absolutely love it. We've gushed about it for like half an hour. I'm just gonna say it's a fantastic movie. Rick and Matt, what are your ratings? We're gonna start with Rick.
I'm gonna go next. Yeah, I'm gonna go next. I'd give it a 5-star. Same thing. It was just phenomenal acting. Mm-hmm. I think that's really where it was, right? The phenomenal acting by the two male leads. You didn't need too many other people in the movie, and everybody else in the movie were just supporting. And it was just phenomenal acting and a good story. And, it's got music. I love drums. It just had a lot of everything, but the acting was really what this movie was all about.
Yeah. No, I 1000% agree. We have 15 out of 15 stars. I'm 5 out of 5.
Wow.
So just, Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, I think it's the best role J.K. Simmons has ever had.
Probably, yeah. That's
Very much deserving of the
with
Oscar for supporting actor. Just
Absolutely.
so good.
Yeah. Not that he's been not good in anything, but he was like amazingly good.
Yeah. If he did Whiplash and say he was the lead in, I don't know, I'm trying to find like a critically acclaimed performance in a film. Say he was Hannibal Lecter, played it the exact same way for some reason, was Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter is seen as like an okay role compared to this role. At least that's the way that I think you can compare it. Is that
I think because of
this role,
his intensity, it was so intense when he was on screen.
Yeah, like the first time I watched the movie, I was scared of Fletcher when I saw this movie. Like I was like, oh my god.
He brought all that through the screen to you. Like, it's phenomenal acting.
Yeah, like I can only imagine how much better it must have been to see this in the theater, to hear it coming out of those types of speakers. Like, oh my god.
That true, yeah. But here's the point. They made you believe they were who they were pretending to be.
Yes, like they did. You didn't see Miles Teller
guys acting. You felt you're watching these two people.
You're watching almost like a documentary in a way, like a documentary where for some reason no one's interfering with the abusive teacher. Yeah.
Awesome. So we highly recommend. If you haven't seen Whiplash,
absolutely.
Yeah, do what you can to go see it. Where did I see it on? It was either on Prime or on Netflix. I'm not sure which one.
I think it's on Netflix.
And most people have those things. So yeah, we highly recommend that movie.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Absolutely. It's on Prime, Google Play, Apple TV. It's actually rentable on YouTube. It's only like $4. So yeah, there's easy ways to get it, and of course, less ethical ways to also find it. But we're not going to talk about that.
If you need to, I would definitely go do that. Such a good movie.
Yeah, it's genuinely it's phenomenal. All right.
We get the next one. I'm going to want to say this. The next one I saw was the first one I saw of these movies. I still don't really know what happened at the end. I saw it. I was awake for it. I understood the words and all that. And I don't know that I understand what happened at the end.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this because we talked about this a little bit off screen. Both me and Matt have interpretations on the ending of this film, and we are going to talk about, again, I mentioned off screen. I kind of hope Rick's got no idea, so we're gonna mansplain to him. But I kind of hope me and Matt are both on opposite ends of what the ending of the film means. And that film was The Gift from 2015. So again, like the rest of the films, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, go watch it and come back, blah, blah, blah. So to explain the plot of this film really quickly, Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall play Simon and Robin Kellum. Simon's, I believe is an editor for a magazine, something like that. Doesn't really matter what his job is until the end.
Like a sales rep or something.
Yeah, sales rep. Yeah, something like that. But they move into a house, a nice looking kind of sort of glass house. Part of it is glass. It's very open concept. But they move into a house where Bateman's character used to live. But they end up running into
not the house he used to live in.
In the area where he lives, a house in that area.
Something like that.
Yeah, where he grew up. Yeah. And they end up meeting someone from that he went to high school with, Gordo, who's played by Joel Edgerton. Best performance in the film, probably. He begins to come around their house, get a little attached, and yeah, I'll stop with the basic plot there. So if it sounds interesting, go check it out. Come back. So the cast. I'm going to get to the cast first. Jason Bateman, again, plays Simon Callum. Rebecca Hall plays Robin Callum.
Joel Edgerton Rebecca Hall was really good.
That's the first point we disagree on. I did not like her in this movie. I thought she was not that good.
I thought she was good, but Joel Edgerton, I thought was best performance in this film.
Joel Edgerton plays Gordo. Good. He also directed and wrote the film. So even if I'm not big on this film, I think it's all right. I don't think it's great, but we can talk about that in a minute. I will give him props for writing, directing, and starring in it. He was fantastic in this one. So yeah, boys, we can talk about this now, I guess. All right, how do we want to start off with this?
Well, I'm gonna just say this. Okay, so when we decided to do this movie, Harry had a different opinion because he's seen it once. But I think it's the kind of movie that when you see it once, you're gonna see it one way, and then if you try to rewatch it now that you kind of know what happened, I don't think it'll hit you in the same. So a
lot of films.
I should tell him he should go with his first impression, but that's on him. For me, it was an okay film. I'd seen this movie before, and I don't mean this exact movie, but this premise,
formula of the
like,
film.
the formula. I've seen it before. That's what I kept thinking. Yeah, and then the end was confusing. Not sure exactly what happened.
Well, I was, because you had texted me that before I watched it.
Yeah,
I'm going. So I was going into it kind of hoping to be confused. I wasn't confused at all.
Yeah,
I really wasn't. I wasn't.
Do we want to get right to that part, or do we want to build up a little bit? Because we kind of we got to build up a little bit. So Joel Edgerton is this friend, old friend of what's the
Jason Bateman,
Robin, is that his name?
Simon.
Like an old friend apparently, but you don't get that impression when they meet each other. Not
because they just meet just randomly in like a department store.
You have to admit, you don't get that impression from Simon that this was like a good friend of his that he wants.
Yeah, because they just meet. He doesn't realize for the first half. Then he tells him, "Oh, I'm Gordo." I was like, "Oh, Gordo, yeah, nice to see you again." Like,
well, that was when they meet, not the first half. It was right when they meet at the beginning.
No, but for the first half of their conversation, I mean.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He doesn't remember who he is. Yeah.
Together, they went have coffee together. They talk, whatever. Then this guy starts to show up.
Yeah, and it's conveniently when Jason Bateman's not at the house.
Right. Okay, that's kind of true. Like, I didn't notice that at first.
Yeah.
And then they made that point. So yeah, but he starts to sort of put himself in their lives.
Yeah, he comes around giving them gifts. Thank you.
Innocently. It's always innocently. Right?
Yeah. Rebecca Hall's character gives him the benefit of the doubt. Oh, he's just a little socially awkward.
Yeah, like Rebecca Hall's character was just going to like, okay, this is nice.
Yeah, he's just a friend. Sweet. He's sweet. He's harmless. Right.
Bateman right away is like, no, this dude's a weirdo. We can't talk. Yada yada yada.
Kind of
totally like kind of opposite end of the spectrum, and we will discuss it, but we'll kind of come to find out why. Honestly, I think why Jason Bateman was like that. But
this is where but this is where I get confused. I think at this point here, because you kind of figure the Joel Edgerton character Gordo is going to be kill somebody, like something like that, right?
Some type of serial killer,
he's
like
bad guy. Then you kind of think, oh, maybe Simon is the bad guy, and in the end, I don't know who the fuck is the bad guy.
All right.
No, I don't. I guess that's the point though, where you start to get that you're not sure, right? It kind of looks like
right because something happened between those two characters. At that point in the film, we don't know what it was yet.
Yeah, you don't
find that out.
You don't even know anything happened.
They're both bad people.
But wait a second. You don't even know at that point that anything happened between these two characters, except that they knew each other before. And then you start to find out that she finds out that something might have happened between them.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So for those who are watching who don't care about spoilers or have already seen the film or haven't seen the film but don't care to
doesn't matter. We already said they're going to be spoilers.
Yeah. So there's basically I lost my train of thought. What were we just talking about? What part of it?
About that she kind of
starts to find out.
Oh yeah. So basically, Simon had gotten not restraining order. He had gotten a background check done secretly on Gordo behind Robin's back. He got a background check. Very important
though. During that scene when she finds Gordo's envelope, the other envelope is of equal importance on the salesman that he was competing with at that like top position job with.
Also, that's also important in the end. Yeah,
very.
So I do like that foreshadowing because she stumbles upon that's not the guy, and then
confused a bit. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so she finds the thing, and there's a thing in there how Gordo had this like incident in high school, but it doesn't like say exactly what it is. It says, oh, he went to the military for a couple years, and he's living whatever. It mentions how he's living, and she doesn't like that he got a background check done. She asks around to a couple people that they went to that Gordo and Simon went to high school with, and eventually finds out that allegedly Gordo was found in a car with another guy by Simon, and he ousted him for being gay. He told a bunch of people, got around. He got abused by his dad and had to go away.
Dad tried to kill him. His dad went away for attempted murder.
Dad tried to burn him alive or whatever they say. That's what was alleged to have happened. Or the incident in the car is what was alleged to have happened. His father actually did try to kill him. At least I'm pretty sure that's all. That's one of the things that's legit.
Yes.
Then you find out later that Jason Bateman's character made it up. He made up the thing, as they say in the movie, just because he could. He was kind of one of those popular guys who everybody would kind of believe when he said something like that. So he basically made Gordo's life pretty bad.
Yeah, made his life a living hell.
Yeah. And so basically Gordo's trying to exact revenge in a way, but you don't exactly know right away what he's trying to do. And do we want to get into the talk about the ending, or do we want to give a little more?
Yeah, because I'm totally confused.
But I think another aspect we need to talk about, because again, it'll kind of go towards the ending. A little after, they kind of find out about this whole the lie that Simon told about Gordo and make his life a living hell. Mm-hmm. They're sitting in like the dining room area of Simon's house. And a rock hits the window, and then a rock goes through the window, and they think it's Gordo.
Yeah.
But it's the salesman that Simon was competing with, and we find out that the reason Simon did the background check was to make shit up about this salesman so he could get the job and ruin this salesman.
Yeah.
Now, Simon's boss was there to hear what had happened, and Simon kind of froze, which I saw that, and I immediately went, okay, this is kind of where Simon's life is going to get turned upside down.
Yeah, and one thing before you continue,
you're fired. We looked into what you said. We know you fabricated what you said about, I forget it was John McDonald or something like that was the other.
Something like that, yeah.
Fired him. At the same time, Simon's wife is pregnant, and she goes to labor. They go to the hospital, and then Simon's got to run home for I forget. Actually,
gone to shower. He said he's going to go shower.
But even before that, too, we saw that Simon went to make amends with Gordo and just ended up beating the crap out of him because Gordo wouldn't accept.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, it's too late for that now."
It was a non-apology.
Yeah. He basically mentioned that. Oh, my wife said I should come do this, and inadvertently, basically revealing he didn't actually mean it. And he says, "Oh, it's too late for apologies at this point, or whatever." And so yeah.
So we're at this point where, all right, we know, Jason Bateman's character, Simon's starting to unravel a little bit. His life's starting to unravel. We know that his wife, I think his wife's name is Robin in the film.
Yes, yeah. Robin, yeah.
She's turning on him because she now knows that he's an asshole. He's a bully, and he still is. And then, so she gives birth to the baby. Simon says he's going to go home and shower. Well, he goes and does that.
Well, you're forgetting a very important thing, is that Robin said, I don't want to go back to that house with you. So it's saying that she wants a divorce from him. Yeah.
Right.
That's one thing you forgot.
She had enough of him. She knew what he was. Yeah. He was a bully. And so he goes back to the house to shower. He gets there. There's a gift. The gift for the Titan. While that's going on, it goes back and forth between that and Gordo actually walks into the hospital room to talk to Robin.
Yeah.
Now he's beaten up. He's got the scars. Still got bruises and stuff. His arms.
Yeah, a little thing over his eye. Yeah.
From what happened with Simon, and Robin and Gordo kind of have a conversation, and it's revealed that Simon beat the crap out of him. And at that point, Robin's totally done with Simon. She realized, all right, this guy's a total asshole, total bully. I don't want anything to do with him anymore. And meanwhile, Simon opens his gift up, and it's a baby carrier with
baby thing,
CDs in it, one to listen to, one to play. The one he listened to was a recording of when they were talking about Gordo the weirdo, right?
When they had a dinner date at his house.
And there was also a box with the key to the house. So that's how we find out, okay, Gordo's actually been in the house.
Yeah, he's had the key to the house, basically.
And so then he plays it, puts in the CD that says "Watch Me," and we see kind of his Gordo's recording of a scene earlier in the film when Robin passed out. And then we cut to Gordo in like a monkey mask because Simon was afraid of monkeys. That was just a weird.
It's made apparent through the film. They mention it a couple times.
we see him kind of over Robin's body in their bed, but it doesn't show. Like it cuts out before it could show if
anything happened.
If anything happened. Simon, Simon's bawling his eyes out because he thinks Gordo assaulted his wife. He goes back to the hospital trying to find him. Gordo calls him, and you could see Simon couldn't see Gordo in the window, but Gordo's watching Simon. And this, Rick, you have to pay attention to this dialogue because this kind of what made everything clear to me. What Gordo was doing, because Gordo said, I did sex, I did
rape her.
I did.
Or maybe I didn't.
I did sexually assault her, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. You don't know.
I could tell you the truth, but I don't need to.
But I don't need
whatever.
to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And through that dialogue, I kind of went, oh.
So
I don't think Gordo did anything. I think Gordo's revenge, and this is the ending of the movie. I think the real gift was Simon getting a taste of his own medicine. Saying, hey, listen, you've told these lies, you've made stuff up, and you've ruined people's lives. So I'm going to mess with you a little bit. And the kicker at the end was showing the video, but it didn't go, but then it cut. So you don't know if he did or he didn't. And Simon's going to live with that the rest of his life.
Yeah. And one thing as well to note is that he also
see the kid, and his wife looks at him, and, again, we know by then that they're done.
Yeah. And
she
another
asked
thing
the nurse
to note,
close the curtain. And at that point, Simon's life's done. He's ruined.
Yeah. And another thing to note as well was that I forget if it's on the phone or if it's an earlier plot point in the movie, but I think Gordo on the phone, mentions, well, you can tell by the eyes if you're his dad or not or whatever.
Yeah.
And so when he's in that window, he's looking and he can't tell if he's the father or not. He can't tell.
Okay, I got that. Yeah, Gordo was the father of the kid. That's what I got from.
I don't think he is.
No, me and Matt agree on this. Actually, no, I don't think so.
You described some stuff. I don't remember that. I must have fucking fallen asleep.
Maybe.
And I said the dialogue at the end on the phone is very important, and that's what clarified to me. Okay, Gordo's fucking.
I remember that stuff.
He ruined Gordo's life. Gordon's gonna ruin his life.
And plus there's a line.
That's why I don't think Gordo's the kid. I don't think Gordo did.
Gordo's the father. Yeah, no. And plus there's a line when he's on the phone as well. And I mentioned this specifically in my notes because this is what really proved it to me. When he says the line, see what happens when you poison other people's minds with ideas. Right. That to me proved correct. It. No, he didn't do it. Yeah, no. Like you said, it was to make Gordo feel the way that make Simon feel the way that he did in high school. And I'll admit, again, the second time I didn't like this film as much as I did the first time. I really liked it the first time. But those last 20 minutes are really fucking good still. They are
very well written. Like I said, that whole last piece of that movie, that last 20 minutes or so, wonderfully written. I think very well acted as well by all parties.
Yes.
So I think the moral of the story is, I think the gift was Simon getting a taste of his own medicine. Don't be a bully.
Yeah.
The gift was the
and you won't get anything back.
The gift was the lesson of showing him what you've done to other people.
Right.
Not very nice, is it?
Can I clarify it a little bit for you, Rick? Now that.
but again, see, I missed some things somehow. So I wonder if I seen that might have been better. But that clarified. I kind of thought at the end, first of all, I'm going to tell you something. I thought it was that one of them had raped the other. That's what I kind of thought it was, but I see that wasn't it. I was totally wrong there. I thought that was a sexual assault between who did it to who. That's what I thought was going on. I don't know why.
I can see why you would think that because they show the video and it just cuts out before. I can definitely see why people might think that he did because there's the chance that he might have actually done it and he's just saying he did or he didn't to mess with Bateman. There's definitely that possibility.
No, but I'm saying I thought that what happened in school with them was one.
It was like, did Gordo rape this kid or did
Gordo rape Simon or Simon rape?
The way it was explained was the story was Gordo was found in a car with an older person and Gordo was molested.
Yeah, I kind of missed that.
Yeah.
And from that, you know, everyone was making fun of Gordo, saying he's gay,
Yeah.
and his dad tried to burn him alive because of that.
I don't.
Yeah.
Now,
from what-
the
that-
feeling that I was starting to get was, well, maybe Simon did that, but obviously we know he didn't. It was all made up.
Yeah, no, it was
everyone would
completely
believe him and
fabricated.
made Gordo's life a living hell.
Yeah,
So
so
Gordo in
nobody
the end-
raped anybody at that time.
Yeah, no, I get that now.
Yeah, but that's what the movie was going for. Was that it wasn't about who raped who? It was that the story was completely fabricated. That's what they went
Right.
for.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I love
Up
the
for
line
me.
at the end, Harry. Like you said, you know, you see what happens when you poison other people, you know, people's minds with your ideas.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what went. All right, I know what was going on here, and that's why again I don't think Gordo did anything. I don't.
yeah.
I think
Which-
that
which-
was all in that ploy to go, hey, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. You'll never know.
Maybe I did.
And
Yeah,
and now it's gonna,
which I'll admit, looking back on it now, probably not a good idea to have that reveal on that phone call like that, because it probably would have been better to, hey, have the audience discuss, do you think it happened? Do you not think it did? But
yeah.
at the same time, I kind of like that they did, because it does give that reveal to Bateman and the audience of like, oh, well, it doesn't actually confirm that he did or he didn't. It just confirms that
Yeah,
this
it's
is
still vague.
revenge for what he did as a kid. So-
Right. It just that, but I mean, it's still. Did he do it or not? It's still. You're not
Exactly. Yeah, there's still that there. Oh, let's go. You're drinking the best flavor of Prime, Matt. Let's go.
All right. Well, okay. Let's get to because I got to direct something later, so.
Oh, okay.
Time limit. 5 stars. What do you guys? I'm gonna go first.
All right. All right.
first part. I thought it was either I missed some shit or something, or it was a little too confusing for me for some reason. I'm gonna give it a 3, mostly because I feel I've seen this basic premise. There were some good twists at the end. I'll give you that. But I think because it wasn't clear enough for me what was actually going on, I'm just going to give it a 3. Still well acted and all that. Worth seeing. Definitely worth seeing. You got to decide for yourself. You know what? Maybe how you see it. But I'm going to give it a 3.
All right. I'll go next. I'm excited to hear Matt's rating. I'm gonna go honestly. See, with me, the first like 60-ish, 70 minutes of build-up the second time around were pretty boring. Admittedly, having watched this movie
Right, because
before,
you'd already seen it. I hadn't seen it, so
Yeah.
I love
Exactly,
the
so,
throughout
like-
the film.
yeah.
I really,
So
really did.
if I were going off my first time watching it, I'd probably give it a 4-star, maybe a 3.5. Second time around, and this is the one I'll go off of because it's the time I'm watching it for this video. I might have to go 2 stars, honestly. I loved the last 20 minutes still, but it's just all the buildup and knowing where it's going. It's very much like The Usual Suspects, and I mentioned this to Rick off camera before we were recording. It's very much like The Usual Suspects, where you watch it the first time, you get that twist ending, and oh my god, this is such a good movie. You go back, you watch it again, and you know what's coming, so it's not as good the second time around, aside from the ending.
And
I'll
the
go
fact
2
that
stars.
Kevin Spacey in there now, and we know better. But yeah, okay.
Well, for that, yeah. For you, yeah. I still like Spacey's an actor, but yeah, no, I get why people might not like movies with him anymore. But yeah, The Gift, I'm gonna go 2 stars. I'll go to 2.5. I'll push it up there because the last 20 minutes are very solid. They're very good. I just wasn't super. It didn't feel super believable in some points on a second rewatch, but yeah, maybe on a third rewatch, maybe I'll flip flop again. I don't know, but yeah, it's a very divisive film for sure. Matt, what are you going with, my good sir?
So I mean, for me, I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Again, this is my first watch through of it, so again, I wasn't, I'm on the edge of my seat the whole time, and again, kind of going through different ideas in my head of where is this gonna go, what's this whole plot of the movie, and so for that reason, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Very well acted, very well written by Joel Edgerton. I never realized that he had that much skill as a writer.
Yeah.
But again, if I had watched it, my second time around and then had to do this review, I'd probably be around where you are, maybe 2.5 to 3. But because again, you're right. If you know what's going to happen, it is boring. But again, for my first time that I reviewed it, I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was, again, right on the edge of my seat the whole time. Very, very good film.
Yeah, I absolutely get that. 100%. Like I said, I would have probably given it 3.5, 4 stars on my first watch. So yeah, I completely get. I was on the edge of my seat the first time I saw it as well. So yeah, I completely get where you're coming from there. But yeah, real quick, if we were to give a ranking of each of these films from like most recommend to least recommend, where are we going? Because I think we can all agree Whiplash is number one. Right?
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Whiplash would definitely be first on the list.
Yeah.
You know, I might go with The Gift second, just because I feel like it might be a movie not a lot of people have seen.
No, and, it's a very indie type of movie.
And but I think a lot of people would like it, especially if they like that thriller movies, that type of movie. Again, I didn't see The Sisters Brothers, so I'll put it wherever you guys want to put it.
All right.
I'd put Irishman second.
Yeah, I think Irishman would be second or third for me as well. I think we can agree, like Whiplash and then Irishman or The Gift, and then whichever one isn't at 2 would be 3. I think that's a fair top 3.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like I said, for me, you put the other 2 in anywhere. But Whiplash for sure, number 1. I think out of these 5 movies, that was probably all around in terms of the writing, directing, the music, the acting was the best. And then after the rest kind of fall into place.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, for sure. I like it. I'm sure when Rick. No, don't worry. When Rick does the top 5, I'm sure he'll have Whiplash number 1 as well. For me personally, my ranking of all these films, I'd probably go Whiplash number 1 easily. Number 5 easily is Bridesmaids. I did not like that movie, so that's gonna be number 5. I'd probably go The Gift number 4 again, just because I've seen it before, and then I'll go probably number 3 Irishman, number 2 Sisters Brothers, because it's short, it's a Western, you can enjoy it. There's a lot of different stuff in it.
Yeah.
That's probably my consensus rankings. Rick, what about you before we wrap up here?
Yeah, number 1 Whiplash, number 2 The Irishman. Number 3,
perfect timing.
I'm gonna go with Bridesmaids. Number 4 Sisters Brothers.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
3 and 4 very close. Bridesmaids, Sisters Brothers, and then The Gift for me is the last one.
That's fair. All right, wow. So fairly similar, but also fairly different rankings. I like that. Bridesmaids was very like up and down between you guys and then me. But yeah, and I'm completely fine with it being bottom of the list here, anyway. So I'm fine with that. But
there you go.
But yeah, so all right, yeah. Anything else you want to say before we end up wrapping up here?
Not for me. Just the next time we do this, we don't know yet what movies and whatever, but it'll be something interesting and fun.
We will be back for sure, though.
Yes, that's the main point. We will be back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we will be back. Hopefully in another 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks.
Yeah,
maybe 7 weeks. Who knows?
Things happen.
In a couple of weeks, within 2 to 3, probably we'll be back. We'll be back up here
working with these 2 fucking guys.
So that is gonna do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have seen these movies, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share, which includes but not limited to YouTube, Facebook, X, Tumblr, Instagram, and all that good stuff. You guys again can check Rick and Matt out on Talking Habs and Don't Puck with Media. Links for those channels will be in the description and probably in the title, more than likely. Yeah, guys, links in the description again, all that good stuff. Let us know again your thoughts in the comments. Tune in, subscribe, hit the bell, or ring the bell, I guess people like to say. Do all that good stuff if you want to be notified. I've got the podcast. Next episode's probably going to be coming out hopefully within the next week or so.
I got something to do like in an hour, right? Hurry up.
Yeah, sorry. We'll be thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Race from Rick, Matt, and of course myself. The Movie Talk. Thank you guys for coming by. My name is Harris. Love you guys. Bye, guys. Bye.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be ready to end this, eh? Ciao, everybody.
Yeah, maybe.